car
Uh-huh.
got a flat tire,
Uh-huh.
naturally and automatically, who's expected to change the tire?
Good. Who was driving?
I see what you do there. Smart.
You just asking. You asked
Who
me a
was
question,
driving?
right? Who was
What
driving?
if you were driving?
If I was driving, right? I would, me personally, sitting here with you, I would want to change it because it's my car, right?
Sweetie.
If it's my car, listen, if it's my car, I'd want to change it. But courtesy expects and courtesy demands that as a stronger vessel, says we are the weaker vessel.
You see?
We are the weaker vessel.
So you technically...
Listen, I just said I would love to.
You would love to.
I'll actually make the move.
Good, but by virtue of the fact that a stronger vessel is inside the vehicle with you, it is expected that the man gets down and take the tire up and change the body.
You know, it's gentlemanly to say, oh, you know what?
Oh, that's gentlemanly. Sweetie, you know what you're doing?
To say,
you are answering all the questions that you have asked me.
Relax, just chill. Where's the tire? Let me fix it. But that was why I went, don't even switch it. I went back to say, who was driving? You just said now. Because, first of all, let's even go this way now. It's difficult, it's rare, right? Seeing a woman drive a man in a car. I've seen, but say 3 out of 10 cases for a woman to be driving and a man is a full-fledged man is seated in a car.
Okay, it's serious.
In most cases, a man is driving and then a woman is...
Because it's an ego, you know.
So why do you have this ego thing?
No, it's not. Listen to what...
So why does the society now make the woman... We already know that we are the weaker vessel. So why does the society make the woman minimal, so to speak?
It's not so. Like I said,
it's not so.
It's not so.
Okay.
What I am saying is, instead of saying gender equality, why not look at purpose? There are women in the armed forces who are commanders where they are men.
And it's usually so hard.
It's rare, but when you find those women, they do their job very well.
But it's also very hard for those women because most men in such offices who want to make that position a living hell for the woman.
That is why I started by basing...
So it has to take a very strong woman to attain such a position.
When it's your purpose for life, regardless of whatever man is there, you would excel. But the thing...
my purpose, first of all. Why can I not just
because we are all created for a purpose.
As a human, why can I not just work towards it the way every other person work towards being a doctor, being a lawyer? Why can I not work towards being something in a man's field? Why do I have to fight against all obvious and possible odds as a woman?
People fight. Look, if you would fight. If you would understand. Not people fight. Everybody fights change that they do not understand.
Yeah.
But when change eventually plays itself, you see people saying, oh, thank God change came. So not all people fight. But what I'm saying, it's not supposed to be a matter of gender equality. It should be a matter of what is my purpose in life, regardless of my gender. Then things will go fine.
Well, but people do not have this mentality. People don't have this understanding of purpose or all of that. People have this mentality of... This generation has mentality of what a man can do.
A woman can do better. It's why a lot of women are having mental breakdown. There's a lot of depression right now. And you find out that our parents, our mommies, grandmommies, and they lived happier lives than the young women of this generation.
True.
Understanding, well, the moment you understand purpose, everything aligns for you.
Even those are grandmommies and mommies now, they'll tell you, as a woman, know your place. Know your place. So what you say, I should know my place. What is my place? Support. So that's my purpose in life.
And yes, support. Sweetie, if you were my wife today, your sole duty is to support me in everything I do. But that doesn't mean that no, definitely. There's a virtuous woman in the Bible. And the Bible says that a virtuous woman takes care and keeps her home. Good. Now, the fact that you're supporting a man doesn't mean that you necessarily financially, politically, religiously, and otherwise need to be under the man.
But the society says that, sir.
No, you don't do society. You know why? Society doesn't go to bed with you and your husband. He who wears the cap knows where it hurts. So why society wants to see how are you and your husband doing? Where is your husband's V-boot? We didn't see it anymore. We're not seeing a smaller B2. Or where's the cyber truck that you bought? You and your husband alone know how it hurts. And so why you, baby, this is what I am going through. This is what I think we should do. No, honey, we shouldn't do it that way. We should do it this way. You know how you suffer.
That's in a supportive home.
That is how it should be.
That's how it should be. But unfortunately, in our generation, in our present world of today, people do not see it like that.
Well,
most men will not discuss what you just said now with their wives. Most men, they'll just feel my duty is to provide. How I get the money, what happens to the money, is not my business. It's not your business.
Mary, because of the way the society is now.
Yeah.
In those days when you come of age, you look for a wife, you get married, you marry the love of your life. And basically you find out that a majority of our parents, they were actually really friends before they got married. And so, communication is not a problem. Marriage was not an issue of procreation alone. It was an issue of, Mary, you and I have been friends for so long. You know me a great deal, and I know you. I love you. Let's take it a top notch.
Let's fill it up.
Let's get married. Let's live together forever. And so, in our misbehaviors, we cover ourselves. In our good times, we cover ourselves. And so, I can easily not see that I'm not seeing the mother of my children as per a title. I am seeing my friend. And so when these children all grow and they are gone out, I'm still seeing my friend. You just start to now. So you take the do that time with the place Kiss Lolo. Good memories being shared. That means that I could bring it down. But you see, because of the pressure of society these days, a lot of people are getting married not because they are in love, not because they're getting married to their friends, not because of anything, but because society demands that they should marry and they should procreate. And it's causing a whole lot of problem out there. And so when you are in a house with somebody who you are just bearing kids with and away from the children and the sex that you have, there is no other relationship. You now find out that the marriage is short-lived. And so when she's done giving birth to 1, 2, 3, she starts irritating you. Now, let me tell you another thing. A whole lot of young men and a whole lot of young women there are now using their girlfriends as wife and are using their husband as girlfriend. So what happened is that in those times where all these things are beefing up, you now find out that there's somebody there that you can always run to. Oh, I don't like what my wife is doing at home. I don't like what and when you come to that person, the person treats you as a friend. And the next thing you know, something happened by mistake and the other thing, and then polygamy. Because in the beginning, an error was already made. Instead of finding a soulmate or a companion for life, you went to look for the mother of your children. At the end of the day, instead of having them as the mother of your children, you turn them to baby mamas. Problem.
Word. Problem. All right, guys. On the couch is still on. We said a lot in a few minutes. We've said quite a lot, and I hope that you're enjoying the show. I hope that you're following. If you're watching us right now, I hope that you are commenting, and I hope that you are telling us where you're watching us from. And I hope that you're also dropping your own opinions. What do you think of gender equality? Is it something that should be encouraged? Is it something that we should scrap? Is it something that we should, just put aside and everybody just live their life? Should we? So that brings me to one important question. In our present day life, most men are threatened, so to speak, or intimidated by a single woman's success. So when a young guy who's well-to-do, right, meets a single lady who's well-to-do, well put together, most of them in this present age are threatened. Why do you think that is?
Okay, we want to do something. First of all, we want to do a small research about men these days.
Yeah.
It is honorable to have an honorable job.
Yeah.
and, be of something important in life. Now, the man naturally is an egocentric creature. A man is too proud.
And why is the woman not proud?
Well, because she was not created out of that context. Now, when understanding is not granted, is when you start feeling intimidated. I will explain. Women these days are, because of the word, what a man can do, a woman can do better. Mm-hmm. A lot of women are going the extra miles. See, if a man gets a degree, a woman wants to have a master's. If a man has his master's, a woman wants to be a doctor.
That's a power woman.
Yes, it's a very good thing. It's a very good thing.
Yeah.
35% of the majority of young men in Nigeria today do not have an honorable job.
Yes, true.
What they do is cyber criminology.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. I'm not coming for anybody, but I'm telling you. Money does not make you outspoken.
Uh-huh.
Money does not give you wisdom.
Uh-huh.
Money elevates your status. I'll give you a short joke. Please don't laugh too much. I heard a comedian saying one time that when an illiterate comes in contact with his childhood friends and they're having a discussion and everybody is laughing, the only contribution the illiterate is contributing in that discussion, you'll be hearing was like, Mado.
No be lie.
Do you understand? And that's because you are not well educated to contribute something meaningful.
Yeah.
So the fact that you have gone to do cybercrime and you're not a millionaire or you're doing something, when you meet a woman who stands out and speaks eloquently and carry herself in so much vigor, bro, you'll be intimidated. Whether you have $1 billion in your account or you have nothing, you will be intimidated.
And then you start hearing them say things like, oh, she's so proud. The girl is proud. Whatever you think you have today, I can buy you. I can buy whatever you think you have.
You see, that's failure. When a man starts using that word for a woman, he has failed already. He has failed already. So if you want to be...
Please, don't be a failure.
No, yes. You cannot... Okay, so what I don't do is, in a relationship, if you and I was in a relationship, what I don't do is let our issues go out the door. No third party should hear about it. Whether it's an issue of money or emotion or whatever it is, we should be able to settle it in the bedroom and, wake up with a smile on our face next morning and say, baby, good morning, yes. Rather than...
This is soap.
Yeah.
That's how you separate.
Yes, that's how we do, baby. That's how we do. Yes. Oh. And so instead of coming, instead of you hearing was like, Papa, don't choose that.
Yeah.
That is why, in the beginning, a lot of you are terrible people. And allow me to speak to your gender who are even looking for equality.
Whose gender?
Okay, sorry. I'm talking about the female, the wine. That's what I'm talking about. Now, look, see the thing is, why a lot of women have discovered purpose and they are chasing success, trying to be successful in the society. Now, the word that the kitchen is not the place of the woman, it goes beyond the kitchen. A lot of very, very handful amount of these people are actually looking for these cyber criminals to befriend them. And you are seeing the red signs. You go into a relationship, the guy is beating you, the guy is doing this and is insulting your father, insulting your mother. But just because you want to sit in front of a GLK, you want to use an iPhone 17, you want to go to all the club, you want to do the old bullying. You forsake the red signs. At the end of the day, what you have are the stories that we have on national television of, did you see one? It was so terrible. He took a knife and sliced the surface of the vagina of the lady, and he cut off his manhood, saying that both of them would no longer function sexually in this time. Guess who died? So when you do not.
Wait, what?
Yes, it happened. I don't know if you didn't say it.
So wait, hold on. So what was he thinking, that they will both not function sexually if they remain so he thinks after that they will still remain together?
Yes. So it's no, this is nothing compared to this is nothing compared to the words on the street. It is trouble out there. There is no such word as, there's nothing called love anymore. You ask people, they tell you it doesn't exist. So when you see a boy who wants to love because he does not have money to buy an iPhone 17 because he's in school, he's not capable.
If you're in school, you should focus on school.
No, when I say he's in school, I'm not just talking that he's going to school. This man is trying to sponsor himself with a little job that he does and is going to school.
That's what I'm saying. If you're in school, trying to see yourself through school, focus on school.
So is it a crime to fall in love while you're in school?
If you're also do, yes. But if you're like you said,
mean love so what you're saying is that love has to do with money?
Love does not have to do with money.
So what do you mean by well-to-do?
If you're well-to-do, listen, if you are financially okay, right? If you are financially fit, so to speak, you will have less struggles and less trouble. True. Even when you're in school. True. Despite the studies, the stress of studies and all of that, right? Then you can now say, okay, your mental health is still intact. It's not at stake at that time. So you can make space for falling in love. But when you are struggling with your life.
And along came Caro.
Who goes Caro now? As how? As who? How do you go? Let me focus on my school. Is it that Caro or my school? So you choose.
Love comes when you listen. You don't plan when you fall in love.
Most times, love comes when you're not even looking.
Yeah, so you don't plan when you fall in love. But what you can actually do is who you fall in love with.
And love comes, and you know that you're struggling for your life. Love should wait first. So, but these guys, they do not know these things. They just feel if they have 200,000 in their account, they are good to go. They don't even mind going to see the girl's parents.
Love is not money to read. Nobody should be fooled. And look, see, you can fall in love. Be in a relationship. Try, and both of you can plan. And you can be, have you not seen people who are doing totally bad? The moment they start dating somebody, ideas came and both of them are, do you remember Kamila Koffer in school?
No, I don't. Let's not go that way. Let's go this way now. Planning a marriage. Planning a wedding, actually. What do you think the ratio should be? Who should contribute what? Who should do what? Apart from the lists, apart from the bridal list that they'll give to the groom to be, who do you think, who is it ideal to do what in your ideas?
Okay, in planning the marriage.
Because for some weddings that I've heard, I've actually I know a couple when they were about to get married, the guy single-handedly did everything.
Yes.
When I mean everything. The girl's dress, the girl's mother's dress, the girl's father, the girl's siblings, everything up to water, up to the guy paid for every single thing. And then that left me wondering, and the girl was well to do. That now left me wondering. And then it was like, the money there now, I get the money now, says it's really nothing.
Okay, now this brings us back to...
So why?
It actually brings us back to what you said minutes ago. Yes. Now, when it comes to who to bring what,
yes,
it's a matter of capacity.
Yeah.
Now, if you are struggling, you're not well to do, you make, maybe your salary is in 100 or maybe 100,000. But you've told yourself, look, I've been in love with this man for a very long time and I want us to get married. Let's make it legal. And you as a woman, you do 1 or 2 jobs where you make like, let's say 70, 80,000. Nothing is wrong. If the 2 people decide to come together and merge resources to make that wedding work. In other cases, if the man, now need I mention that it is naturally the sole responsibility, I mean, if you're African or you're Nigerian, of the man to cater for the whole having been from the beginning down to the last part of the marriage.
As society demands.
Yes, as society demands. But now, you cut your coat
according to your material. Not even to your size anymore.
You cannot be earning, or you have just 2 million naira. Well, you know that all you needed to do was to bring 2 canopies, one for the woman's family, one for your family, and then friends and well wishers should stand for inside corner of this. And everybody eats, as much as you can give, and people go home. Mm-hmm. But you say no, that my wedding is going to be the talk of the town, and you want to use KFT.
Okay. I hope you get the joke, guys. I hope you get where we're going with this. I hope you get the trajectory which we're going. We will call for let's go for a little sip. We will be right back.
At DSAG Engineering and Services, we anticipate, manage, and deliver. Since 2000, we have been a leading EPC company, ensuring customer satisfaction through quality service and timely delivery. With integrity, proficiency, and innovation at our core, we provide world-class solutions tailored to your needs. From engineering designs and construction to procurement, manpower outsourcing, and maritime supplies, DSAG delivers excellence. Partner with us today. Visit www.dsag.net or call +23 4807 254 8724. DSAG Engineering and Services, anticipate, manage, deliver.
Guys, welcome back from that quick sip. We needed to go freshen up and so can continue the discussion as we were. So before we went on a quick break, I was asking my amiable guests, the last part of our previous segment, I was asking him, in weddings today, first of all, we are still on gender equality. Should it be encouraged or not? So we delved into weddings, Nigerian weddings, and the question was, do you think it should be equalized? Who should do what? What ratio should who do? And what is it? And he was throwing a lot of light on it. So let's continue from where we stopped. So,
well, like I said earlier, even though society, African society, Nigerian society, about where we come from, Niger Delta here, it's supposed to be the man in charge of all this. But like I said, it's a matter of capacity. And then if they really love themselves, there'll be understanding. If the man is buoyant enough, why not?
So what do we do? Okay.
If the woman is more buoyant, it's also not a crime for a woman to cater for the responsibility. But like I told you,
would you prefer if your woman to be is more buoyant than you?
Yes.
Would you mind if she wants to cater for the whole wedding?
Okay, the whole wedding, yes, but not the whole wedding. Okay, so I would like her to do.
You said the whole wedding, yes.
You asked if I would mind. Yes, I would. The wedding. You're not supposed to run it for the whole wedding. You could, do some other things, but the main thing, the diary payments, those main things on the list.
Yeah, you will do it, but if she gives you the money to do it.
Well, I may not be able to shoulder that. I'm sorry about that. But like I'm saying, it's not about me. It's about men, and it's a matter of capacity.
All right.
Yeah. So
for you, the normal African Nigerian
man is supposed to cater for the responsibilities.
Should cater for the responsibilities of the marriage. Okay. So there is no but that's the standard. That's normal standard. But in cases where they both are struggling. When I say struggling, he has quite enough for himself. She has quite enough for herself, but not so much to throw a big wedding.
They could join resources together.
They could join resources.
And you look, please, viewers listening to the sound of my voice this morning, your wedding necessarily doesn't have to be big. You don't have to invite the whole world. You know what?
But you know that the couples don't mind a small wedding. That's what I'm saying. Parents will not allow it.
No, okay, so going there.
Yes.
Grandma and grandpa, mommy and daddy, please listen. Please
they will
listen.
not want to.
I know, and it's still this ego thing that we're talking about.
The grandparents or the bride's mother, especially the mothers, the bride's mothers, the groom's mothers, their own canopy first of all has covered everywhere.
Meanwhile,
and me, I just want a small wedding.
And meanwhile, the main wedding begins the next day, where guests, family and friends
they've gone. Yeah,
I have seen
that's when the marriage starts.
I have seen a marriage where they spent all their resources on the marriage and they divorced 30 days after the marriage. You know why they divorced? Because the man was no longer able to cater for the house. He had gone to borrow money to do that marriage. When the debtors were coming and he was not having the money to pay, they were picking their properties one by one, including the gifts that was gifted them. And then the response that came out of the woman was, "I thought you were rich."
Well, yeah, you know, there's this skit, right, that we must have seen. I'm sure our viewers must have seen it when after marrying the wife over to the house and she meets only one bed, one mattress, and then the woman was like in the skit, she was like, I thought you had the world, and then the man said, "Yeah, I told you you are my world. You are my world." But that's bad. I've actually heard of a story where they got married and the marriage ended that day. Marriage, yes.
After spending all the resources.
Yes. Why did the marriage end that day? They had fracas and issues over the money that was sprayed. Who should take what? Whose money is it?
Look, it's better,
But let's delve a bit. The money that sprayed to the couple, who should take what?
Again, it's a capacity and a mindset. And if the man gets too much money, well, he doesn't care about that money.
Too much money is never too much.
No, there are some things you let go.
But I'm just saying.
But technically, that money is for the family. That money is the initial capital deposit.
So why would you not say that because you have so much money?
No, I'm just saying if he has. You don't expect somebody like Kestin Pondi to do a party and they spray him and he's dragging the money with his wife.
Yes, true.
But naturally, that money belongs to the family.
So there's no family? The new family that's starting now.
There's no splitting formula in that. Look. We become one. We are now running a joint account. Pay that money into the account when there's necessity for anything in the house.
What if there's a situation where now, right? What if there's a situation where the man tried to provide from his end for the wedding, but the woman, too, seeing that the guy is trying, she borrowed, or she got support from people, or she borrowed.
With whose permission?
I'm coming.
Marry, don't go. You don't have to borrow money for marriage.
No, listen, the man is trying, right? We both put our resources together, but I can see that this, my husband to be, is actually trying. I do not want to bother him with some expenses. I do not want to, listen, I don't want to bother him with expenses that are coming up, because marriage preparations, I've been with brides where they think that they've sorted out some expenses, and then from the blues they just tell them, we need one bag of rice, we need one, so the money just has to come,
and you have to borrow.
Your husband at that time does not have what you do.
Have to borrow.
You just had to borrow.
Okay, very
I'm coming, right? The lady had to borrow. Now, God so kind, after the wedding or during the wedding ceremony, more of her friends sprayed her than the guy's friends. So it's obvious that the lady had more money from the spray money than the guy. And then they've closed that day, they've gone to the hotel or they've gone to their house. And then I'm now trying to share money, and then I'm now in my mind, okay, thank God, this money that they sprayed me is many. I will see enough from here to settle the debt that I'm owing. Then my husband will not come and tell me, no, I'm the husband of the house. You have to submit all the money to me.
It's not so. In the beginning,
that's where you now know that you're a man.
In the beginning, first of all, while borrowing, because you were so compassionate, did you consult the man?
I wouldn't want to bruise my man's ego by telling him.
You didn't consult him when you were borrowing, but now that you needed to pay back from the money that you guys were spread,
I will now tell him.
You have to tell him. That marriage don't break from the beginning.
Why? How? Why did it break?
There was no communication.
No, listen to
me. Regardless of whatever you have to say, regardless of whatever you think, you don't assume in marriage.
I'm not assuming.
Yes, because you think that I am spending too much. Yes.
I don't want to bruise my husband.
Why don't you go ahead and not bruise my ego and pay the money back?
No, I want to collect from men that they expect us to pay the money back now.
Who you tell?
They tell us now.
You don't tell me before.
They don't really spray us. So okay, I didn't want to spray us now. So I want to take for
meeting. I like see your parents. I beg. Yes, we need to talk about the communication thing.
Guys, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think the lady should, or do you think money spread after wedding should be shared equally as per gender equality?
No, money spread in wedding should not be shared. Money spread in wedding should be used for the family. It's not.
Okay, now when you say use for the family,
not to settle debts.
Okay, we're not settling debts now. We're not settling debts now. When you say use for the family, guess who the money still goes to? It still goes to the woman because that will go to the market to buy
yes.
Okay. Not so the money will come to me last.
See, let me tell you something. When a man loves a woman.
When a man loves a woman.
When a man loves a woman.
When a man loves a woman. I'm sorry for the laughs.
Mama, will call your picture. All right, let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Now, when a man loves a woman, she's automatically in control of everything.
Mm-hmm. Is she?
Yes, she is.
For the African man?
Yes. Love does not tell whether you're African or American. Love is that one thing. Yes, is that one thing that touches you and your own perspective change, your whole perspective. Whatever anybody is saying about that person that you are in love with, not the person business is that. The only thing you're saying is milk and honey and sugar. No, sugar to give jadi. Milk and honey.
So milk and honey. So you think milk doesn't have sugar?
Yeah.
Milk doesn't have sugar.
Natural milk. I'm telling you. Yeah. So if there is real love inside, like we were discussing earlier, if it was not because people they marry, make her marry, because people they born, make her born, it was love based on love, she get that money. There wouldn't even be need for. What I am saying, that regardless of whatever the condition is, the woman has completely no business borrowing money that should be used for marriage or anything inside of marriage.
And
if you should,
the same goes for the man too. Though.
If you should, if by any means, yes, we should agree. Even the Bible says, and two walk together.
Preach.
They agree.
So he had to go there. So, can two walk together except they be agreed? Even the Bible says so. The Bible says, can two walk together except they agree? I see somebody say, clock it. Can somebody say, clock it? All right. So, even the Bible says, can two walk together except they be agreed? So that means, should we say, even the Bible does not agree to
the Bible
gender equality?
No, I didn't say that. I don't think I'm not, I don't know. Oh no, but I'm saying personally, there's no such word as gender equality. If you say gender equality, you're causing problem in the economy, you're causing problem in the house, you're causing problem in the church, you're causing problem in the workplace. I would only say that every man has a purpose, and per capacity, you work according to your purpose. So whether you are a man or you are a woman, if it is in your capacity to lead men, you will lead men. It is not a matter of gender.
Preach. All right. So that brings me to this question. So is it safe to say that when in our today's world, when women, I think that's where they got the saying from, what a man can do, a woman can do better. When in today's world, when a woman goes into a man's field, in most cases, the woman does it better. When a man goes into a woman's field, in most cases, the man does it better. Take, for instance, if a woman goes into mechanics, so goes into being a mechanic right now, she comes out outstanding. She does it better than, not that she does it better in most cases. It's just encouraging to see. People will be like, wow, woman, the mechanic. Okay, let her fix my car then. Then same thing goes to when a man goes into a woman's field. You see the nail techs and the makeup artists these days. You see the hairstylists and the rest. When a man does all of that, you see this specialty in all of that. So what would you call that? Would you still call that purpose? That's the person finding purpose in what they are doing?
It's a clear definition of purpose coupled with focus. You see, when you come into a field where you are a strange person. You want to do your best. I'll give you an example. When maybe you left your school that you were as a result of translocation for your family, and you get into a new class because you do not know the capacity of the students in that class. You want to do best in the first term, and God willing, you did it and you came out first position. You want to do everything it takes to keep it,
to remain there.
So when a man finds himself in a woman industry, he overdoes it because he's more focused. Now, you see, it takes you to be uncomfortable to move into an industry where the people there are not people of your gender. And so, because you know what brought you there, you are ready to give it your all. I know one of two makeup artists in Warri, and I know you go Gilly. Tall, handsome guy. This guy is doing it well. Not just in Warri. Ego has gone away from Warri down to Ghana, almost all the African countries, teaching just how to tie Gilly and do makeup.
Just this normal Gilly that would tie.
Yes, I'm telling you. I also know a couple of other persons who does, a couple of females who are into, that Air-Peace pilot. The female one.
Yeah.
She's exceptional in her field of study. And of course, we also have some female fighter pilots in the Nigerian Air Force.
Yeah.
I have a few friends in the NNS Delta, Nigerian Navy. Girls, awesome, they're doing well. So it's not a matter of gender, I keep saying it. It's a matter of focus. Now, it's a do me. I'm going to beat you before. If I'm going to beat you, when you reach place when we say, you find out that, look, this would eventually take me away from the snares of poverty forever. You want to do everything it takes to do it well than everybody who has done it before because you do not want to go back.
Because you have a driving force.
Focus.
Interesting. Okay, so lastly, let's round this up now. So do you think most men are secure in their masculinity?
Yes. Yes. Like I said, every man was born with a ton of pride from the mother's womb. And so there are things that men don't want to hear. We don't want you bruising our ego. So
is it that women do not have ego? Why is it only men that are so conscious of their ego?
They do. But for a woman, somehow you need to earn it. I'm sorry, but it's the way it is.
Oh, a woman has to earn her ego.
A man has to come.
Oh,
sorry,
so a man.
I'm sorry, but it's the truth. These are bitter truths. It's a reality. Not to tell a man say because he not get money. What's it? That's
So as a man has a natural ego, but as a woman, you have to struggle and earn it.
No, I didn't say struggle.
You have to struggle and
I didn't say struggle.
Okay, but you have to earn it.
You have to earn it.
Why do we have to earn it? What's our offense in life?
You did not do any offense. I'll just put 3 words together for you. Weaker vessel. Earn.
Yes.
Then respect. When a weaker vessel does extraordinary where a stronger vessel does it, she earns the respect. That's why you see people calling them mama.
Calling them what now?
Mama.
Mama.
Take your brain back and look at everybody that is being called mama in your area, in your church, or everywhere. There's something exceptional that person has done to earn that title.
To earn that.
As small as it is, being in it in ghetto, being it in corporate places, there is something. It's that she's the pastor's wife. Or mommy in the area has a company that men do not have, and she has men working for her. Remember the Lord's Break back in the Street?
Yeah.
Just look at everybody in this our environment. When people they call mama, I get why.
Yes, are you a mama in your own industry? Are you a mama in your own industry?
I go lie for you.
No, but you did never to lie now. Never to lie now. I did lie. All right. Okay. All right. Let's digress a little. This question popped up in my head. So do you think, based on this gender equality, is that why some women feel entitled to a man's money because, the men are supposed to be the providers?
Okay. So, we've been able to establish that, relationship should be more of love-based. When there's love, there's more communication. When there's communication, there's understanding. But there's a certain population in this generation that has turned what relationship in Nigeria that has turned what relationship is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
And let me not speak English. You see, Yahoo boys and runs guests don't spoil everything.
Oh my God.
Now, you see, if you go outside today, you see young girls from the ages of 15.
14, 12.
You know, if you go to ShopRite in the evening now from 8 o'clock, you see them outside.
Yeah.
Now, these Yahoo boys do fraud to get money.
Mm-hmm.
When the money comes, you take girls and squander this money lavishly on them.
Yeah.
And they are not so wise to realize that they need to invest and have businesses where they could have a constant flow of income that comes over and over and over to them. And so what they do is this. They lavishly spend on the girl. And because they don't want to share the girl with any other person, they don't let them do any work.
Yeah.
And so that's where you see a girl without formal education, without any skill, without technically anything, using an iPhone 17 Pro Max, driving a GLK outside, because when the boy bought, he bought one for her and bought two for her. Now, stupidly, the man is thinking that the MAGA, or whoever is duping online that pays him, will continue paying forever.
Yeah.
And so mama is sending $15,000 and she's sending $20,000 until the scales are out of mama's eye, or mama has been bankrupted, that she does not have money to pay anymore. And now this girl no gear work. She's been entitled. Baba don't sell the first GLK. Sell her iPhone. It's remaining one GLK that the both of them are now using. And he has gone to buy her a Samsung A15 or 17 to be using. Standards now are now dropping. Now you have given this human being a lifestyle that she has never tasted in her life before. Because when she came home, the father wasn't able to do with the phone. The papa they use now all those loud touchlight phones. If the ring, you will hear the soundtrack from another place.
Don't do that.
No, excuse me, be realistic here.
Yes, yeah.
Now, and that phone, not be only the papa they use it, and and mom see they use it. So why papa they share the phone? Now 2 SIM cards inside. Papa get 1 SIM card inside the phone. Mama get 1 SIM card inside. Now, she has managed now to buy herself a Technopop 2 that she's using. And then you suddenly came and swept her off of her feet, bought her luxury clothes. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. While you're doing all this, you know what it didn't dawn on you that you should send her to a beauty parlor where she's going to learn how to make hair, and then you use some of the money to open for her a beauty salon. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And now standards are dropping. You have sold all the plots of land that you managed to buy. You sold the first GLK. You've taken her phone from her. She doesn't eat shawarma on a daily like before. What do you think is going to happen? Fights go happen. Then you start hearing words like, you're very stupid. I go also, your papa get GLK. Yeah, you know words like that. Now, these girls, the next thing is that they'll leave you. And when they leave you, because of the kind of life that they have tasted, they don't want to go back to their father again. They'll start jumping around one Yahoo boy to the other. It's where the standards of living becomes high. And this does not just affect both the man and the woman, it also affects the economy.
And affects the people.
It's a bad thing, because now, if there are 50 girls out there, you find out that 30 of them their mindset is something else.
They're tablets.
Another 10 do not want to date guys because they think guys are also men are. Yeah, don't say it. And then the only 10 that is remaining now, religion too have destroyed them. Problem everywhere.
So we're basically living in a world where we have a lot happening. So much is going on, so much is happening. So so much is going on, so much is happening, and that leaves us with this question. As a person, what is your take? Let us know what your take is on the different topics we've touched on that gender equality. Do you think gender equality should be encouraged? Do you think gender equality is a thing, first of all? Because my guest has said he doesn't think there's anything like gender equality. He believes in purpose
and capacity.
So do you believe in purpose and capacity as well? Do you think, oh no, I'm a man, so a woman is below me. A woman should not speak when I'm speaking. A woman should not do this when I'm doing that. I'm the sole provider of the home. A woman should just respect me and just cook and just take care of the children. Let me do the hustle and all of that. That brings me to this question now, Precious. So is it because of this gender equality, based on this gender equality topic, still on it, do you think that's why we have some men that prefer their women to not work? Because some men, like I asked you earlier, some men are threatened by a successful woman. So when you marry your wife and, she says she wants to work, some men prefer their woman to not work. You prefer her to be a stay-at-home mom while you go out and provide for her and the children. What's your take on that?
I think the issue of preferring your spouse not to work is an outdated issue. Old. But then it has been remixed though. Like we say, I will still bring it back to these boys. Yahoo boys not the one made their girl do anything. And what they do not realize is a bad thing for them too, because at the end of the day, when the cash flow stops coming, it will also affect you. Yeah, but not letting your spouse do anything is actually not a nice one. Because what you're going to have, look, if there's no commitment for anybody, you will commit crime. A person or a congregation without commitment will commit crime, because the human mind is programmed to be committed to something at every particular time. That's why when you wake up in the morning, you're asking yourself, what am I supposed to do? And if there's nothing to do, your body, your belly will give you commitment. One go, you need to look for food.
Yeah.
And so when purpose is not identified, abuse becomes inevitable. Sure. So at every time, you need to think what you want to commit to. That's why your wife needs to be committed. Remember, you're leaving her at home. She's sitting there watching Nigerian film. And her idle mind becomes the devil's workshop. Now, while she's not idle, she starts watching too much of African Magic. She will pick a mentor in African Magic and start behaving like that person.
Behaving like that, sure.
So at every point, everybody, man, woman, boy, girl, child, has to be committed to a purpose. In turn, that purpose will give them the capacity to do more than is expected from them.
So you do not believe that?
I don't believe that.
A man should ask his woman to not
No,
work.
don't do that. That's wrong. That's taking freedom away from her, especially when she wants to work.
What's even a case where the woman actually is lazy? She's the lazy type and she really doesn't want to work.
Well, now you know it's going to make you mad. How would you even marry a lazy woman in the first place?
Some women are like that. Yeah. So they are, enterprising and, in the workforce before you get married, hoping and praying someday to be your guy's wife. Now they get married and then, oh, thank God I'm married.
And it's time for me to express my lazy prowess.
It's the time for me to relax and be taken care of. One word from you to our viewers so we can wrap up.
Oh, all right. Allow me not just to drop a word. I will take two. One for the guys and one for the ladies. Ladies, there is no such word as gender equality. If you are commissioned to do something, you have a dream, it's your plan and your purpose. Regardless of what anybody or everybody thinks about it, go for it. Gentlemen, the ladies are not your toys. And so because she's married to you doesn't mean you're going to fold her somewhere and then compel her as your slave for life just because she's being submissive and respectful to you. Remember, he that finds a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor from the Lord. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Comrade Rukeme Ojeviojo.
Oh, you got it right. You got it right.
Thank you so much for being on my couch. Thank you for honoring my invitation. And
so
I hope that you honor our invitation again.
Well, whenever you call, I'll be there to it.
Oh my God, guys. All right, that will be it on this amazing episode on gender equality. I hope you heard the last words from the not so last words, but the last words on this episode from our amazing guests. And I hope that you do accordingly and you live right and you do the right thing that is expected from you. That will be it from me, Mara Samuels. I remain your host. Thank you so much for watching to this point, if you're still watching. And thank you so much for those of you that have commented. And if you have not commented, if you have not followed, if you have not shared our content, please do well to do so. And we will be at your screen again. Thank you so much and bye-bye.
Bye now.
This is TVM. TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network.
Welcome to another episode of Money and Market. It is that time where we talk business. And today we are talking about something that affects every Nigerian, whether you are a market woman, a bus driver, you are a salary earner, or, and of course you are into business. This is definitely for you. And that is, why is the Naira weak? For most Nigerians, they have heard, or people talk about, the dollar being one of the contributive factors to price increase. Now, this results in the Naira being weak, prices going up, salaries becoming almost irrelevant, useless or valueless. So most people are asking, why is this happening and when will it end? Well, today we break things nicely, as always, and of course we ensure that there'll be no big grammar, no economics jargon, so that everyone from the market woman to scholars will get a better understanding of what we'll be looking at. Just the truth, the causes, and of course what it means for your daily life. Now, when we say, what does it mean that the Naira is weak? It invariably means 1 Naira, what 1 Naira can buy less foreign currency. Your Naira buying less of the foreign currency. But let's look at some illustration on the screen right now. Let's look at the value of a Naira, from 2015 to 2025, about 10 years difference right there. So from 2015, from our checks, we saw that the US dollar was exchanged for 200 Naira. I remember vividly well because there was something I ordered in 2015. I think it was between 150 Naira to the dollar back then. Now, 5 years later, 2020, the dollar was exchanged for 360 Naira or thereabout. And then in 2024 and 2025, we saw the volatility or the unstable nature of the dollar, as it were. The barest minimum was 1,400 Naira to exchange the dollar. It was just moving 1,400. At the time we saw it was up to 1,600 and something, some fraction right there to exchange the US dollar. So the Naira, as it were, buys less today. So what does it really mean? I mean, when we say the Naira is weak. So when we say the Naira is weak, we are not saying that the Naira is bad or the currency is really that bad. What we really mean is that our currency, in this case, the Naira, cannot buy as much as it used to when, we want to buy, how we want to buy things, especially from outside the country. Let's give an illustration to buttress this point. Let's start from the market woman aspect, because like I said, we want to really break things down nicely so that everyone can understand. Let's look at a retailer who goes to a depot, in this case, rice. Madam A goes to a depot to buy rice. Now, the rice seller buys this rice with dollars. That's Forex exchange, all right, or Forex. Now, when dollar is cheap, invariably, Madam A will sell her rice cheap as well. But when the dollar is expensive, you know, as in the exchange rate for the dollar is expensive, then Madam A would definitely sell a price expensively, regardless of profit or regardless of whether she wants to make money. But in this case, I mean, at this stage, most consumers will believe that Madam A is actually the problem, why the price of that particular food item, in this case rice, went up. But that's not the case. The problem here is the exchange rate, how the Naira buys the dollars. Okay, graphically, let's see the before and now when it comes to price. Let's compare price now with some items, food, petrol, and of course transport, before and now. Now, before, let's say some few years ago, a bag of rice was sold for 18,000 Naira at least. But now we could say it is way, way higher, about 80,000 Naira plus. For pump price of fuel, some years ago, especially before the removal of fuel subsidy by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, fuel was sold for at least 165 Naira as far back as, 2020, 2018 or thereabouts. But as we speak, it is about the barest minimum is about 650 Naira to the liter, the pump price of fuel. Some fuel stations sell for 830 Naira, 820 Naira. I think the NNPC sells for 700 and something Naira now. Let's look at transport as well, as it were. 200 Naira was at least the barest minimum for some distance some years ago. But as we speak, the barest minimum is from 700 Naira upwards. I mean, yesterday, I actually traveled to a certain part of Delta State, something that costs back then would cost me about 300 Naira, but I paid as high as 2,500 Naira. As of 2015, yeah, that price was about 300 Naira, but as we speak, I paid 2,500 Naira. All right, so we see that it's same goods. From the indication from the illustration we just gave, we saw that it's the same goods, but then weaker Naira, because what the Naira bought back then cannot buy now. All right, so that's basically what the Naira, when we say the Naira is weak, is all about. Now, remember, like we said, there are reasons why the Naira becomes weaker. Yeah, we'll look into that. And of course, we'll also look at why Nigeria needs dollars, because in every economy, I have to be honest with you, the standard, as it were, is the usage of the dollar for foreign exchange, or forex, as you want to say. So we'll also look at why Nigeria, needs these dollars to do business, for especially those who are in business of importing goods from abroad. Not only that, those who are also exporting, those who sell goods and outside of the shores of Nigeria. So we'll look at all of that. But one take here is that as we speak, as of 24 hours or 48 hours ago, we learned that the Naira started appreciating. I think still in the region of 1,400 and something Naira. Okay, the projection for the year 2026 is 1,300 and something, according to the NBS. That's their projection. Well, when you want to look at it compared to a couple of years ago, let's say about 10 years ago, it's still way, way up there. You want to say that the Naira is still weak in relation to exchanging the dollar. So, like I said, we'll be breaking things really, really nicely, simply in today's episode of Money Market on this particular topic, why the Naira is weak. Everybody is talking about it, especially market women. When you go to the market, you hear them saying, back now, I mean, like a couple of years ago, you go to the market, I'm talking about the market now, like the local market space. When you go there, you want to buy your goods, they will tell you dollar has increased. dollar has increased. Why is the dollar increasing? That's what we are talking about now. The dollar actually is stable. It's not really that, high when it comes to the dollar itself. It's just about the exchange rate, what your local currency can exchange it with. All right, so that's where the problem is. So it's not about the dollar is high. That's the market woman's understanding that, when you want to buy something from them, they say, dollar don't go up now. Dollar don't go up. It's not really the dollar going up. It is your naira getting weak as a result of some factors we should look into. So the naira getting weak means, like I said, your purchasing power. What that local currency bought back in the day and what it can buy with that same amount of money, what it can buy today. I'll give you another instance. Some persons who are into trading, especially when it comes to logistics and deliveries, they will tell you that back then, like say a couple of years back, okay, let's say 10 years ago, deliveries is dependent on, or were dependent on transport. Now, you could see that I brought out three proponents when we were looking at the comparison of prices. We looked at food, we looked at fuel, we looked at transportation. Now, for logistics, those who are into logistics and deliveries and all that, they are what it entails. That business is all about movement, mobility, and mobility is dependent on what? Fuel. All right, is dependent on transportation as well. So when you look at how deliveries were made back then, the prices, the cost that was added to the goods that were being transported or that was being delivered was a bit minimal, because back then the exchange rate was favorable compared to today. But today, same distance covered by these logistics firms is higher compared to like maybe 10 years ago. So why is that so? It is because the exchange rate for you to buy the dollar, okay, let me use that, statement, for you to now buy the dollar is now expensive. So I want to correct that impression where people say, dollar don't go up, or the dollar has risen. It's not the dollar that is going up. It is the value of your local currency, in this place, the naira. So to you who is a trader or the market woman who does not have the economic knowledge of how things are, I'm just letting you know that it is not the dollar that is going up, but the naira that is weak. All right, pretty soon we'll be taking a breather, and like I said, we'll be looking at why Nigeria needs the dollars. I just explained now that the exchange in the foreign market, it is all about some other foreign currencies are there, but the major standard or the major yardstick here is always the dollars. So why do Nigeria? It's not just only Nigeria. Other countries also depend on the usage of dollars. But you'll be asking yourself, why does Nigeria, the economy, everyone in the economy, why do they need dollars? We'll look at that. And of course, we'll also look at some of the factors why the naira is weak. Okay, that will be much later. But for now, we'll be going on a quick break. Yes, for some commercials. And when we come back, we will be looking at why the need for dollars. I mean, why can't we just use our local currency to do business? Who want to do business with you? I mean, when it comes to other economies outside of the country, Nigeria, nobody. Because definitely you know what your local currency, the value of your local currency is. All right, we take the breather now. When we return, we'll have more conversation on this. Stay tuned.
At DSAG Engineering and Services, we anticipate, manage, and deliver. Since 2000, we have been a leading EPC company, ensuring customer satisfaction through quality service and timely delivery. With integrity, proficiency, and innovation at our core, we provide world-class solutions tailored to your needs. From engineering designs and construction to procurement, manpower outsourcing, and maritime supplies, DSAG delivers excellence. Partner with us today. Visit www.dsag.net or call +23 4807 254 8724. DSAG Engineering and Services, anticipate, manage, deliver.
All right, welcome back from that breather. And before we went on that quick break, we told you that we'll be looking at why the need for the dollars, why depend on the dollars for Forex, for your international trade. Well, to do international business, Nigeria does not use Naira, like I said before we went on the break, because no economy will want to do business with your local currency. Now, to survive, Nigeria needs dollars. Not just only the Nigerian economy, like I said, every other economy needs the dollars to do business. Now, we need dollars to import fuel, to buy medicines, to import machines, to pay foreign school fees, and of course, to do international business. But where do dollars come from? We'll be looking at that. So these are some of the reasons why Nigeria needs the dollars. You want to import fuel. Definitely, Nigeria imports fuel from overseas, which, is still shocking to Nigerians because we have our refineries here, which are not working ultimately, in ultimatum. So in full capacity, as it were, and that's affecting, us as a nation, and we have to rely solely on the importation of fuel. Yes, the Dangote refinery is doing all it can, but is it meeting up to the daily demands of Nigerians? I don't think so. So Nigeria needs dollars for fuel importation. Medicines, yes, I know that we know that Nigerians, we have our own pharmaceutical companies here, but we have foreign pharmaceuticals where we depend on where we buy medicines from, and these pharmaceuticals are from overseas. Not only just medicines, but appliances, and as well, I will talk about that one now, which is importation of machines. Yes, in the health sector, and the manufacturing sector, wherever we need these machines that are being imported from overseas, and we need dollars to trade on these materials. Then what about our wards, our kids, those of us who go overseas for to further our education, or towards or families that will take their children overseas for just education? Could be from the secondary to the tertiary level. You have to pay those foreign schools fees on the dollar. You can't send your Naira to those schools and they will accept it. No way. And of course, like I said, you do international businesses. You want to do international business? It has to be in dollars. That's the standard, like I said earlier on. So where do dollars come from? That's the other question we'll now be asking. Well, dollars come from exports, from foreign investors. They come from diaspora remittances. I will explain these later. Of course, they come from exports when we export our goods outside of Nigeria, especially our solid minerals and from the agricultural sector. So you think of Nigeria like a trader, That's how every economy is, by the way. So if you go to the market and sell only a particular product, for instance, tomatoes, you definitely will buy other stuff, like your pepper, your onions, your oil, your fish, And when it gets to that level, you know that you will always be short of money. If you say you want to just rely on just the tomatoes alone, what about other things that you need? So this invariably means, I just gave that instance so that you understand where we're coming from. This invariably means that Nigeria buys more than it sells. So again, like I said, on this segment, we are looking at why Nigeria needs dollars. We also we've highlighted some of them, so let's go into them now. The importation of fuel. Like I said, the refineries are underperforming in Nigeria, as it were, state refineries. So we have a private refinery in Nigeria, at least that is very, very, how will I put it now, that is working, and of course, refining products. We have the Dangote, as it were, refinery that is working, and but like I said earlier on, it's not meeting the demands. Yes, it's not meeting the demands of the users of these products, and so the country, Nigeria, the economy will have to depend on the importation of fuel. Though the government has failed in that regard, because if we had our refineries working, to the best of my knowledge, I think the states, which is the federal government, owned about 3, 4, 5 refineries that are not really working. So if we had the refineries running, definitely we won't be depending on fuel importation. All right, and even if we have to do that, it's not going to be much dependency on fuel importation. So that's one area where the dollars, we need the dollars to do business. All right, another area, like I said, is because when you want to buy the dollars from, the fuel from these overseas firm or refineries, as they were, you have to pay in dollars and not in your naira. Okay, so you can see how the dollar is needed in this particular sphere. Now, for medicines, like I said earlier on, pharmaceutical companies that the economy or the Nigeria will have to depend on in terms of trade, you have to exchange those with the foreign currency, which is in this regard, the standard is the dollar. So Nigeria will have to trade for the dollar in order to buy these medicines into the country. You go to these pharmaceutical companies overseas and you carry your bulk of your local currency, like the naira, as it were. Nobody will even look at you, But like I said, the standard is the dollar, the dollars. All right, so you buy your medicines, you do your business, and you come home and you know how to go about making your profits, because then you have to sell in the local currency where in your country. But getting these medicines across, you have to pay in dollars. Now, for the importation of machines or machineries, as it were, you also have to pay in dollars. Now, these machines are not made here. They are not manufactured here. They are manufactured overseas. And so when you want to bring them in, you have to go buy the dollars in, what's it called now? Through the different channels, like in Nigeria, there's the CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria. There are also other bureau where you can also do your exchange. You can, change your naira, convert them into dollars, and then you do your business. It could be most of the times through your banks, where you have to import these machineries or these medicines or fuel, as it were, so that you can get your goods into the country. Now, for schools, for education, these schools abroad, you have to also pay in dollars. We have students who school abroad who will tell you that, this is the standard. You cannot carry, your local currency from Nigeria down that way. In fact, your currency is useless over there, okay? And even if you want to pay your school fees from here before you travel out of the country, it must be converted into dollars. So you see why the economy do really need the dollars. All right, and of course, when you do businesses, all of these are all forms of businesses we just talked about. So when we want to trade for dollars, because these are the reasons why we need the dollars, why we have to go get the dollars and do business. But then the other question is, where do we get these dollars from? Where? All right. one of the places where Nigeria, or the economy can get the dollars from is through oil exports. Oil exports, the crude oil that Nigeria is blessed with, because we do not have the capacity to, refine these products to get the different products out of the raw material, crude oil. What we do is we export the oil, the crude oil, overseas. All right. Now, like I said, it's not only in Nigeria or the Nigeria economy that depends on the usage of dollars for business. Now, I've been talking about how we spend, how we'll go and buy the dollars to spend the dollars in the different, areas we talked about earlier. But in this particular, instance, we are now selling our crude oil. When we sell, we will get it in return in dollars. So this is how the dollar in return as foreign exchange. Now, another aspect where we get our dollars from as the economy is through foreign investors. Foreign investors are these guys or these companies or these individuals that want to come to Nigeria to do business with the country or with Nigeria's economy. All right? We've seen different investors come in the health sector, in different sectors, like in the manufacturing sector as well, in different things, services and what have you. We've seen foreign investors come to invest in the Nigeria economy. In that manner, Nigeria also gets dollars from these foreign investors. Now, the diaspora remittances, I talked about this one that I was going to come back to talk about it. These are Nigerians spread across the world, who in one way or the other do businesses outside of the country. And of course, there's this policy in the Nigeria, economic policy that would want to, I don't want to use a negative word now, but let me just say they bring, they pull resources from these Nigerians abroad. And so this also brings about Nigeria having dollars from overseas, from the diaspora, through these remittances. And then also exportation of agricultural and solid materials, from agriculture and solid materials. We do sell our local foodstuff like gari, oil, what's it called again? Cocoa, and some other agricultural products. And of course, some solid minerals, that Nigeria can also sell in the international market. And that also brings about money, foreign money in this space, in this time, the dollars into the Nigerian economy. So these are the forms of which dollars come into the economy, how it is that they are now available for us to now buy. You understand? We now buy from the financial institutions and then to also in return do business, like I also mentioned earlier on, doing international businesses. All right, so I hope we're catching the drift right here on where we can get the dollars and why the economy, why you and I need the dollar. One thing to take away from the discussion today on this particular topic is that let's remove the notion where we say the dollar is rising. Instead, we say our naira is getting weaker by the day. We'll take a quick break now. When we return, we'll continue with the conversation.
At DSAG Engineering and Services, we anticipate, manage, and deliver. Since 2000, we have been a leading EPC company, ensuring customer satisfaction through quality service and timely delivery. With integrity, proficiency, and innovation at our core, we provide world-class solutions tailored to your needs. From engineering designs and construction to procurement, manpower outsourcing, and maritime supplies, DSAG delivers excellence. Partner with us today. Visit www.dsag.net or call +234 807 254 8724. DSAG Engineering and Services, anticipate, manage, deliver.
All right, welcome back from that breather. Now we'll go straight into the reasons why the Naira is weak. We've talked about what it means when we say the Naira is weak. We talked about one of the things that we'll look at when it comes to your Naira, which is the dollar. One of the things that will make that will tell if your Naira is weak or is strong, and that is the dollar. We looked at where we can get the dollar, why we need the dollar. Okay, now we want to look at the reasons why we have this issue of the Naira being weak. One of the problems right there is oil problem and dollar shortage. One of the reasons why we have Naira weak in Naira. So for many years, in fact for decades, Nigeria depended solely on oil for dollars, in exchange for dollars. But today, that's not the case, right? Because we've seen some things that have affected the oil production, as it were, for this dollar, for this Naira, at least to appreciate. But instead, we are saying that the Naira gets weakened. All right, so for decades, like I said, we've seen oil theft has been very, very high in the different spheres. It could be from the offices of even some of these parastatals or agencies that are responsible for oil distribution, oil maintenance, oil production. We also see how bunkering, illegal oil bunkering is ongoing. So it's all part of the oil theft and is getting higher by the day. There's also production instability. We have over the years said that there's a particular limit at which the production the particular volume of production of oil should be, but most times, if not all of the time, it has been very, very low. And so production has been unstable, as it were. There's also the issue of global prices fluctuation coming in from especially OPEC Plus and what have you, the international, oil body, that is responsible for fixing prices. So we've seen in one of our episodes where we talked about taxation and all that, part of the budget depending on the benchmark for oil for the year. So this is one of the reasons why that benchmark, fails in our budget, the global price fluctuation. And this means oil money resulting in fewer dollars entering the country. So, where we have these issues affecting oil and of course dollar shortage, definitely the dollar will be shortened in terms of volume exchanging for our own currency. So we look at before and now as it relates to this particular reason, the oil and of course the dollar flow right now. You see that before we had stable oil outputs, we had more dollars. When we had more stable outputs, the volume of our production of oil was much, much higher than what it is today. And you could tell the reason why our refineries were optimally working back then compared to now, where it's like non-existent. So CBN, what CBN could do right now, because it's one of the things that they have to do, they just have to support the Naira. That was what they did back then. I think that's what they should be doing now. But back then, they supported the Naira, to ensure that the Naira was appreciative. But now, what we see is we have low output, the dollar becomes very scarce, and that leads to the Naira being weak. So it is like, selling foodstuff like Gary, for instance. If rain spoils the cassava which we get our gari from, especially from the farm, you won't have enough gari to sell. I remember during the flood, when we had flood a couple of years ago, the volume of foodstuff production was very, very low. All right. So what we saw then was less product, or in this case, less gari, because gari was not less, it became very expensive in terms of the price. And that is why in this particular aspect, we're talking about the oil now, is less oil will attract fewer dollars and thereby making the Naira weak. Let's look at another reason why we have a weak Naira: import dependency and inflation. Import dependency. When we depend on import, it's crazy, you know. Nigeria imports more than exports. That's a very crazy thing right now in the economy. We import more than our exports. So, and of course, the inflationary effects are seen in food, in fuel, fertilizer, medicines, spare parts, even things grown locally depend on imported inputs. I mean, the inputs are, like we say, machinery, for instance. Do we manufacture machineries here? The answer is no. The tractors and the bulldozers and what have you, you know, we do not manufacture such in the country. So when dollar rises, everything rises, in quotes, you know. To the layman, when the dollar rises, everything rises. All right, so let's look at before and now about this particular one, why local food is still expensive. We know we talked about this one before, but let's just give you a pictorial mindset about this whole thing. For the fertilizer, when it goes up, you know, the fertilizers, they are imported. Transport is fuel-based. And of course, packaging is also imported. So local does not mean cheap. I mean, we've seen where even some local produced items are not cheap. They are even expensive as well. For instance, your pepper sellers would depend on what's it called now? Fertilizer, which we said are imported. We depend on petrol, which after the removal of subsidy, it became very high. And of course, nylon. How many companies or firms we have in this country that produces nylon? We've seen some produce recently, but when you look at the quality, you will know that there's a difference between what we have here and what we import, you know, from abroad. And that invariably tells you one thing: even with the substandard nylon that we produce here, it's still expensive. So again, when the dollar rises, all of these we just talked about rise as well. So prices, you know, follow the dollar. Prices follow the dollar. That's how it is. Let's look at another factor or reason why we have weak Naira. This one is on salaries, savings, and the pressure coming in from poverty. Salaries, savings, and poverty pressure. So if, for instance, your salary is, let's put it at about 100,000 naira, and it bought you plenty before. I mean, that salary, you could get so many things working for you before now. But today, check it out. Do the math. You will see that that 100,000 naira will buy you less, very little compared to before. All right, let's look at it, you know, categorically. Before, your 100,000 naira could buy you food, could pay your rent, could take care of your transport, and you could even save from that 100,000 naira, you know. But now, the only thing that 100,000 naira could do for you, and it's not like it will solve all of them, is just food and transport. It cannot even pay your rent. I mean, a 2-bedroom apartment now is how much you get, especially when you want to break it down to monthly payments. In some places it's about 40,000. Depends on where you are. If you are in Lagos, the Highland in Lagos, like the Lekki aspect, if you want to break down a 2-bedroom apartment, I'm not sure it's even 40,000 naira per month. Some highbrow places in Abuja, for instance, as well. So what can 100,000, we talked about this thing, we've talked about it over and over in previous episodes. Your salary does not increase, commensurately with prices. Prices, they go up at will, at any time. But your salaries, it will take some time before you see that increase. And so, if you saved 1 million naira in 2020, it can no longer do for you today what it did in that year 2020. So 1 million naira is like today, as at the time you held 1 million naira in 2020, it was something valuable. But today is more or less like 10,000 naira in valuation. That's how bad or how weak the naira has become. So saving naira without growth is risky. So why would you want to save when you know that it's not going to grow you any profit? All right. So these are some of the factors or reasons why the naira is weak. One of them we talked about is oil problem, dependency on oil, but not getting enough volume of oil to export, and then that results to dollar shortage, because the more you export your oil, the more dollar you earn. All right, this as a result of oil thefts, like we talked about, production being unstable, global prices affecting your benchmark, as it were. And we also talked about the import dependency. We depend on import a lot, and of course, inflation bites harder when you do that as well. We've depended on most of the items we see today in operation: food, fuel, fertilizer, medicines, and of course spare parts, especially for those who are doing businesses and those consumers who go and buy as well. We also looked at another major reason why we have a weak naira, as it were, when it comes to valuation of our currency: salaries, savings, and poverty pressure. So when you are dependent on your salary, that is, inflation comes biting hard on it, definitely your salary looks more or less worthless or valueless, so to speak. All right, so these are some of the issues relating to why businesses, why we have our naira getting weak by the day. Right, we'll take a quick break pretty soon, and when we come back, we'll be looking at some other items, some other questions, like, for instance, who suffers most when it comes to the naira being weak, and we'll also look at benefits of, could there be benefits as a result of the naira being weak, and how Nigerians are coping with, the naira getting weak per se, because definitely it will affect every strata of the economy. And then we'll wrap up things right here. So stay with us as we go for this short break.
At DSAG Engineering and Services, we anticipate, manage, and deliver. Since 2000, we have been a leading EPC company, ensuring customer satisfaction through quality service and timely delivery. With integrity, proficiency, and innovation at our core, we provide world-class solutions tailored to your needs. From engineering designs and construction to procurement, manpower outsourcing, and maritime supplies, DSAG delivers excellence. Partner with us today. Visit www.dsag.net or call +23 4807 254 8724. DSAG Engineering and Services, anticipate, manage, deliver.
All right, welcome back from that quick break. And before we went on the break, we told you that When we return, we'll be wrapping up things, and of course, we'll look at who's most affected when it comes to the weak Naira valuation. Okay, but before we do that, let's also look at what a weak Naira means for the average Nigerian. So in this particular one, we'll be looking at higher prices where inflation bites harder because Nigeria imports a lot. They do that in, when it comes to food prices rise as well in that particular one. What this Naira, the weak nature of the Naira does is that it brings about higher prices, like I said earlier on, where inflation bites harder because Nigeria imports a lot, where we see food price rise a lot, the cost of fuel increase, transport fares go up as usual when you see the rise in prices. And of course, when inflation bites harder. We also see local goods, which I said before, becoming expensive because inputs are imported. Another thing is that salaries lose value. This is how it impacts on Nigerians, as it were. So if your salary stays the same, but the food prices double, rent increases, transport fare triples or transportation, so you are earning less in real terms, even if your pay hasn't changed. And we'll look at how businesses also struggle for small and medium enterprises. Raw materials costs more for them. Equipment is expensive, no doubt about that, and planning for the future becomes difficult. So many businesses, will now downsize or even shut business. So another aspect is education and health becoming unaffordable. We talked earlier about school fees, especially private or foreign-linked schools. The school fees increase as well. Drugs and hospitals bills increase as well. Families are forced, to make tough decisions or choices. More poverty, of course, pressure comes into play where savings lose value. Fixed income earners suffer most. Unemployment pressure increases. And of course, the weakest feel the pain most. So these are, the effects, what the Naira, weak Naira does to the average Nigerian. All right, let's now look at, we just talked about who suffers most now, about the impact it has on the different strata of the economy. But let's go into the reasons, those who are mostly affected. Fixed income earners definitely are most affected when the Naira devaluates, when the Naira becomes weaker. Market traders, especially the market women, will be affected as well. Small businesses, the SMEs, definitely will suffer as a result of the Naira being weak. Transport workers, those who are in the business of transportation, definitely will be most affected because definitely Forex, when it comes to the fuel and what have you, oil as it were. Pensioners will also be most affected. So like we said, the weakest feel the pain first, and then the strongest in the society, they adjust fast, as it were. Okay, so are there benefits when we talk about the Naira being weak? Are there benefits? We've been talking about the negatives, we've been talking about the disadvantages of the weak Naira, as it were, because in life there's always the pros and the cons, there's always the black and the white, there's always the yes and the no. So in this particular one, are there benefits when we talk about the Naira being weak? Now, the Naira, or a weak Naira, is not 100% bad. We said it earlier on when we started this episode. Let's look at what's on the screen. Small upsides. So exporters earn more naira. Yeah, those who export their products, their goods. We talked about the agriculturists or the farmers, and of course those who are into solid minerals. Diaspora dollars go further. Yeah, that's the money realized from those outside of Nigeria, helping the economy, as it were. Local products become competitive, you know, and of course, we talked about if we encourage local production, those who are into local production, there will have to be a kind of competition, whether it is healthy competition or not, but at least there is the competition. Now, let's take an example. If you sell palm oil or gari, as it were, abroad, and collect dollars, you gain when you change to naira. Okay? That's the barest minimum of how I can explain this, because you gain when you change to naira. All right, so you definitely, because you look at the volume of what the naira will exchange the dollar for. And so when you export, in this example we give now, gari or palm oil, when the money comes in dollars, it looks like very few. Probably, let's say, by the time you do your business, your trade, you are earning like $1,000. So when you do the exchange, I mean, when you do the conversion, you change it to the naira, you know that you are having some good amount of money in your local currency. All right, so let's look at how Nigerians are coping with this issue of the naira being weak. I mean, we talked about how things will definitely increase when your naira gets weaker by the day. But as we speak, at least the naira is appreciating. What we used to say, 1,500 or thereabout to the dollar, I think it's now about 1,420 something. I can't remember coming to the studio now. But like I said, the NBS and of course the CBN, they are projecting for 2026, 1,300 and something and some fraction or thereabouts. So let's look at how Nigerians are coping when it comes to the naira being weak. One, they are coping via multiple income. We talked about this one in our previous episodes. Multiple income, your side hustle, compared to, especially for salary earners, you know, it will go a long way for you to cope with the pressure coming from a weak naira. Buying local. Now, if you're into business as well, you want to buy from your local market, you know, instead of going foreign. There are alternatives to many products. Instead of you going abroad to import, you could as well buy locally. So that is one way on how Nigerians are coping with a weaker naira. Also, cutting luxury spending. Before now, many persons have been spending a lot of money unnecessarily. That's what we call luxury spending. So what they now do is they cut down that level of spending, which is really, really not good when it comes to your businesses and of course to households as well. So this is one form of how Nigerians are coping, cutting down luxury spending. And of course, family pooling. Now, everybody has to pool resources together. A will bring, B will bring, C will bring, D will bring. They pool their resources together and yes, they go on a survival mission. All right, so that's it for today. That's a wrap on today's episode. I'd like you to join us again for another episode where we will break things really, really simple and nice for you. Like I said, this program, Money and Market, what we do here is to explain to the barest minimum for you to understand all the economics, what the experts will come here and tell you. What we do here is to break them down for you to get a better understanding. All right, you can follow TVM on the go. You can watch, follow, share, and of course comment on our social media pages. You can also reach us via the numbers on your screen. Yes, like I said, you can watch us via TVM on the go on Google, Apple Store, and Play Store, on Google Play Store, beg your pardon. And of course, I want to say once again, thank you for watching, and until we see you again, bye for now.
This is TVM. TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network.
Hello guys, it is no news that the big 2027 is around the corner for our general elections, and I know we're all anticipating to go vote, so I am anticipating, and I'm sure that you are anticipating. Welcome to another episode of Your Perspective with me, your host, Mara Samuels, and I have with me in the studio my co-host, Mr. Fred O'Neill. Hello, Mr. Fred.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So good to be here again.
So good to see you. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. I hope that you have been following up on all our social media contents, because we encourage and urge you to follow us on all our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Send us a message on WhatsApp and the number displayed on your screen. Whatever comments you have, whatever ideas or opinions or your perspective that you have, please drop it in the comment section, or please send it as a message to us on all our social media platforms. We'll be more than glad to hear from you and to actually read your opinions. Today, we'll be talking about the electoral reform. The Senate was divided as 13 frontline opposition senators kicked against reports that the upper chamber of the National Assembly rejected mandatory electronic transmission of election results in its passage of the Electoral Act 2022 Amendment Bill 2026. As outrage trailed the Senate's reported decision, Senators Einaya Abaribe, Victor Ume, and Abdul Ningi, amongst others, stated that they stand on the proposed amendments to Clause 60, subsection 30 of the bill, which sought to make the electronic transmission of election results mandatory, and vowed that the provision will be monitored to the point of transmission for presidential assent. Mr. Fred, let me go over to you now. What do you have to say regarding this electoral reform that's making waves?
Well, it is, I don't want to use the word unfortunate. It is my perspective, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word unfortunate, but we've gotten to a point where it's as if some few Nigerians, I'm not sure they are up to 2% of the Nigerian population. We have over 220 million Nigerians.
Sure.
So I'm not sure the number of these senators make up 2% of Nigerian population. They are holding this nation to
ransom,
a standstill when it comes to the political space. And it is not acceptable. honestly speaking. Now, as at Wednesday, February 4, we saw that they came together to pass this bill. It is, I think, the third reading in the House. Now, the House of Representatives, on their own, also passed a similar, vote of confidence on what these senators are saying no to. Okay, and a whole lot was looked into. The Senate passing Electoral Act Amendment Bill, the 2026. Key legislative changes and rejections. The one you're talking about now is the electronic transmission results in clause 60, and you mentioned subsection 3 of the Constitution. Now, the rejected proposal is the IREF portal in real time after forms were signed, that will be signed, that should be transmitted in real time. They are saying no to that.
Yeah.
And the provision now is that they maintain that the current law, which allows the Commission, which in this case INEC, to prescribe the manner in which results and accreditation data. So the Commission has how will I put it now? They have to use that discretion to now say this is what we want to achieve on that particular day.
Yeah.
It's sad that we're seeing this in Nigeria today.
It's very sad because we are in a democratic system of government. So I wonder why they're trying to impose things on us.
It's obvious the reason they are doing this. It's very obvious. Now, I think, as far as my memory serves me, this IREF portal thing has been tested in some states, and they saw the possibility of, almost near 0%. Let me not say zero, because in actual terms, we don't have zero when it comes to some statistical analysis. But, to the barest minimum, let me use that statement, to the barest minimum, corruption in the voting process is limited.
Reduced.
So they've seen that, and these senators and whoever they are, in quotes, fighting this thing for, they're Nigerians in the political corridor.
Yeah, but it's not the actual Nigerians.
They know now that if they agree to this, many of them will not come back to the National Assembly.
True. And according to them, more than 2/3 of the Senate wanted real-time transmission of election results, and the Senate was yet to conclude the matter. Lawmakers spoke as former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, and former Anambra State Governor, Mr. Peter Obi, opposition parties and civil society organizations, CSOs, amongst others, picked holes in the Senate's rejection of mandatory electronic transmission. Led by Senator Einaya Abaribe, who is the ABGA candidate for Abia South. The 13 senators said that the Senate did not reconvene to approve the votes and proceedings of the plenary, and vowed to ensure that there was that because there is still one more step left by the Senate to take. And now, according to the senators, they're worried by the backlash that followed rejection by the Senate of electronic transmission of election results in real time by the INEC, as contained in Section 60, subsection 3 of the 2026 electoral bill. On page 45 of the report of the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters, clause 60, subsection 3, the provision states, and I quote, "The presiding officer shall electronically transmit the results from each polling unit to IREF portal in real time." I think that's what you mentioned now. And such transmission shall be done after the prescribed form EC8A has been signed and stamped by the presiding officer and or countersigned by the candidate or polling agent available at the polling units. Exactly what you just said now, because truly, if they have observed and they've seen it that if truly elections are actually done with this IREV portal thing, the possibility of manipulating figures will be at the barest minimum, according to you.
Yes, exactly. And the last election, general elections in 2023, we saw that IREV, according to them, did not work when it was for the presidential elections. But in other elections,
it worked.
It worked. So how come it did not work? And we are talking about technology, moving, joining the global world, the global markets, global space when it comes to technology. And we are seeing this thing. In other African countries, they practice this electronic transmission, and it's working for them. So how come the nation that is referred in Africa, the continent, referred to as the giant of Africa, will be saying this, and they have the legislation saying what they are saying today? It's disheartening. It is unacceptable.
And it's very, very sad.
It's unacceptable.
It just says, as the people, that we're on our own. The people we elected to actually work for us are not doing anything.
Because in the first place, you begin to ask yourselves why they are doing this. If Recall really works in Nigeria, if we have the opportunity of bringing Recall to work in Nigeria, someone like the Senate President Akpabio, Godswill Akpabio, will not go back to the National Assembly. They will recall them via their constituencies. They know that it's not the Nigerian voters that put them there in office.
Exactly.
And that's the reason they are doing what they are doing.
And then it says that Senate President Godswill Akpabio had, during consideration of the bill clause by clause, announced that clause 60 as amended and not as recommended, which made the media to widely report that the new provision was rejected. Senate didn't reject real-time results transmission. Now supported by 12 other senators, Senator Abaribe at the briefing declared that the Senate did not reject electronic transmission of results, adding that the 13 senators and many others across political divides would monitor the very important provision to the point of transmission for presidential assent. Now, when they say for presidential assent, it's like, we'll do all of this and then the president has the final say.
Yeah.
We are in a democratic. Why shouldn't our votes count? Like, why shouldn't what we actually voted, like the actual numbers of voters, why shouldn't that just count? And why are they scared? Let's even start from there, because it's obvious that they are scared. So why are they scared?
No, if you ask this question, it will make me angrier.
It's a rhetorical question, by the way.
Because they are scared because they know that on merit, most of them do not merit to be there.
True.
That's the truth. And they know now that Nigerians are aware. Nigerians are not imbecile. Nigerians are intelligent people. They've understood. They understood what happened in 2023 general elections, and they've seen the sufferings from 2023 to date. They don't want to repeat that.
Yeah,
they are saying it even to the faces of those people representing them in the National Assembly when they come home. So they hear things, and that's the reason why, to that your question, they are scared, because they know that when it comes to the general election in 2027, they will not be going back.
And when we say 2027, it sounds like it's like 10 years.
It's next year.
It's just next year, few months from now.
Less than
few months from now. It's already there. And then Senate President Godswill Akpabio, he said, quote and unquote, to put the record straight, the Senate did not, I repeat, not pass transfer of results, which was in the 2022 Act. What we passed, and which the Senate President himself said when he was doing a clarification sitting on his chair, he said, what we passed is electronic transmission of results. I feel like, are we missing something
sometimes when you listen to Godswill Akpabio, you be asking yourself, many questions. One of them would be, is this man really, really educated? Is this man literate? Does this man know what he says sometimes? He will say something today, tomorrow he will say the opposite.
Tomorrow is too far, the next few minutes.
So does he really know what he's saying? Look at the way he's contradicting himself.
Contradicting yourself.
I watched that session, and what they said was, like I said, I read it out not quite long ago, that the rejected proposal would have required presiding officers to transmit polling units results to the IRF portal in real time after forms were signed. Instead, what they now adopted was the Senate maintained the current law, which allows the commission, in this case INEC, to prescribe the manner in which results and accreditation data are transferred. So it's their discretion, the commission's discretion, to say, we will do this or we will do that in transmitting results or bringing the results to
and
the
then need I say that the INEC, the commission, the INEC commission as a commission, they are not even what's the word? They are not even neutral as a body, because they can be bought over. So it's their discretion to. Unfortunately, it's their discretion. The onus falls upon them to use their discretion to decide which one will work. But like I said earlier, it's very, very possible that they could be bought over, and whatever they give us now is what we will take.
You are playing with the destiny of the country, Nigeria. So
millions of people.
So the issue of election should not be based on discretion.
Exactly.
It should be based on what the law says.
What the law says, what the Constitution says, what the law stated says.
So it should not be based on discretion. And that's what the Senate, the majority of the Senate lawmakers, the senators, said in that session on Wednesday, the 4th of February. So it's like I said, it's disheartening. It's unacceptable what they just did. The good thing is this thing has not been passed into law. So the deliberation is still ongoing. Like I said, it's a third reading that they've passed, So let's see what the final, what's it called now? The final passing will be on this particular amendment to the Electoral Act.
All right, it's very, very, very funny, because so what that means now is that Nigerians will go out in their numbers to vote, and the commission, they'll do what, in short, it just says, because even the from the clause 60 of the electoral bill, it says the presiding officers, quote and unquote, the presiding officer shall electronically transmit the results from each polling unit to IRF portal in real time. So now you're saying that while the elections are on, while Nigerians are under the hot sun or the rain, whatever the case may be, they go out in their numbers to vote, hoping for a better Nigeria. Because, voting is not just numbers. Let's just go and cast a vote. They are hopeful. These are people that come out to vote for the future of their children. They are coming out to vote hoping that Nigeria will be a better. Let us vote in people that we deem fit to make Nigeria a better place. Now people go out in their numbers to vote for the future of Nigeria, for themselves and for their children, born and unborn. And then it's in the Constitution that it's the onus falls on the presiding officer to electronically transmit these results and then upload it in the IRF portal. So like we said earlier, our leaders, the senators, know that if this is actually done, if we let these people do this thing this way, there is no way we are coming back to office.
Do you know what this thing translates into? Because when you look at that statement, results from the polling unit into units to the IRF portal in real time, and of course, such transmission shall be
done after the prescribed form has been signed and stamped.
When they say at the discretion of the commission, which means the commission can decide to say, we're not going through the IRF portal
Exactly
thing.
my point.
So we will just only follow the ECA 8 form, just sign and what have you.
So now this will be a place of the pen will be minded.
That's what I'm saying. That can be manipulated.
Oh my goodness.
But you see that thing that you now upload to the IRF portal, it makes the voters who are still there, who have cast their vote, will not get to know what the total of that particular polling unit
has. Exactly.
So it invariably means that even by the time they get home, before the final results will be collated and brought to the public, many persons have already known the direction of the vote, the direction of the election. And that is what these men calling themselves senators are fighting against.
It's unfortunate. Also, let me complete that quote. I'll read it again. It says, quote and unquote, the presiding officer shall... I want to take pains to read this again so that it sinks into the minds and hearts of our amazing viewers so that we understand that, we don't just go out there. It's actually our right. It's in the Constitution. And it's our right and it's in the Constitution to know that as a voter, you are supposed to be there and watch your votes count. Because the presiding officer shall electronically transmit the results from each polling unit to the IRF portal in real time. And such transmissions shall be done after the prescribed form EC8A has been signed and stamped by the presiding officer and or countersigned by the candidates or polling agents available at the polling unit. Now, the onus falls on we Nigerians to, like I said earlier, stand by and watch this thing actually happen, because they can just come out and say 2,000 people voted, whereas about 10,000 people voted. So it is our job, our duty. We don't just cast our vote and go home. People should be there to actually do close monitoring on these presiding officers, because like I said earlier, anything is possible. People can be bought over. So someone for a presiding officer that has been bought over, that already knows what he wants to do, and then people are not even there to even monitor the thing with him. He will just put whatever number he wants to put, and then now that we are saying that they are saying that this thing should not be done in real time, it just makes work easy for them.
And the good thing about going through this IRF portal thing real time is we'll be able to know the number of voters that actually voted.
Yes.
Okay. Now, it will take away the fact that, some persons are saying, my vote does not count, so I'm not going to vote. Now, when you don't come out to vote, that is why I'm using this medium now to tell you who is listening to come out and vote. If you don't come out to vote, and this IRF portal thing, reporting in real time is actually not giving the go-ahead, then truly that EC8 form will always be manipulated, because it's now manual collation.
Yes, just numbers.
Yes, so, and they will continue to... You were saying that you're not coming out to vote. They know the number of persons, because I think the ongoing there's registration of voters ongoing right now.
Yeah,
they know the number of voters Nigerians who came out to register. They will for the last election. Even presently, as we are talking, they know the number of people who have come out to register for vote.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, secondly, they also know the number of persons that are, important for the election as well. So if you don't come out to cast your vote, definitely they will always use it and say, okay, this is the number of people who already registered for voters card and all of that. So I'm just using this opportunity to speak to you that, look, when it comes to the election, cast your vote. Don't hold back. Don't hold back.
All right, still on this matter, we have a breaking news. We are receiving reports that Senator Abaribe Aminu Tambuwal, Natasha Akpoti, and other opposition lawmakers say that the electoral reform bill that was signed was not the version approved by the Senate. All Nigeria will hail thee.
No, you see, there's something I wanted to say too about Nigeria.
Yeah.
We have experienced something that happened in Kwara State some few days ago.
Yeah.
Now, the what's it called now? The president of the Senate has come out to say what he said, denied and undenied them.
And contradicting himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
when I saw that happening, I said, there's something that is about to happen or that is going to happen. They are using these to cover face, to distract Nigerians. Now just imagine what they are saying, that the one that they signed is not. And who is there now talking? Who's the one? No, one of the names there opposing the Senate president, who also had an issue with the Senate president not long ago.
It's a friend, please. And the news also says they are insisting that the electronic transmission of results must be retained. We'll give you more on this. We'll give you more on this confirmation.
No, but on that developing story, there's something you should understand there.
Yeah.
I watched the passage, the third reading passage by the Senate, where Akpabio used his Now, that was a past bill, a past reading. If this set of guys now come up to say that is not, it is all left for Nigerians to know what was agreed on and what was not agreed on.
So I think.
Remember, you said something about 13 senators or so who went against what. So why did they come out to say we are against what the Senate president said? Those people, they are not part of the guys bringing these developing stories.
No, they're not.
So something is wrong with our national assembly.
So do I take it that it's now almost becoming a norm that, we now have two versions of things that happen? Because, from the news over the months, we have two factions of PDP. We have two factions of the tax reform bill that was passed. And then now, unfortunately, we now have two factions of this electoral bill. Because now we are getting to know that what was passed, what was approved is not what is even approved.
I have said this,
oh my goodness.
And I will say it again. Nigerians will like too much play. The National Assembly has become a theater of dramas. We have, in fact, why would it not be so? One of the member of the National Assembly, I think it should be the House of Rep now, we have a Nollywood actor there. I think it should be in the House of Rep. What's his name now?
Mr. Fred.
I'm coming. I'm driving somewhere. I'm driving somewhere. We have but it's the truth.
Yes, but can we go past that?
That is what they have made Nigeria. They've turned. They've made
circles. Unfortunately, guys, but this is where we find ourselves, and this is us coming out to call on our amiable Nigerians to please come out and vote. Count your vote, cast your vote, and make sure to be there to monitor this vote, because take it or leave it, your vote will count. And I just hope that the Senate House gets this passing of bill and no passing of bill thing sorted, so that we as Nigerians know what to do. Because I know that some people, I also saw in the news that some people are arranging for protests. They want to go for protests and all that. But do these protests actually work?
No, sometimes it's
from my experience from the NSAS protest in 2022, I don't know. I will not say that I've lost faith or lost hope in protests.
But one thing from that hashtag #EndSARS movement, are you hearing anything about SARS anymore?
No, they've changed name now.
No, even if they change the name.
They've changed name, but there is still police.
That brutality that we experience, that level of brutality, is it still up there?
It's still not up there, but it's still there.
To an extent,
yes,
that movement worked. To an extent. Now, many will say, some people died now. That's the sacrifice. We do not want to make sacrifices in this country. For any movement to work very well, sacrifice is painful that we lost those lives. I'm not saying those lives must be lost and those must be the sacrifice, but in every forward movement, there's got to be sacrifice. In anything we do in life. Do you understand? Yeah. So we like I said, we like too much play. And that is what is affecting Nigeria today.
All right, guys, talking of too much play, we will be back to talk on the real issues of Nigeria. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. All right, still talking on the national issues bothering us as Nigerians. We're going to look on the insecurity of Nigeria. It is no news that there was a massacre in Kwara State just recently, and the head of Woro village in Kwara State, Umar Salihu, has said that terrorists attacked his community for nearly 10 hours before security forces arrived, leaving scores dead, and the village was razed. Speaking during an interview, Salihu said distress calls to authority were made shortly after the attack began at about 5 p.m., but soldiers arrived at about 3 a.m. Mr. Fred, imagine the difference in time. You were called, the incident began at 5 p.m., a call was placed through, and you arrived 10 hours later, 3 a.m. 3 a.m. I mean, what wants to happen? 3 a.m. Something was happening by 5 p.m. You were called. The forces were called, and they arrived at 3 a.m.
Anyway, that is how response is in Nigeria. I remember we talked about that in, was it on October 1st, 2025, last year, in the October 1 celebration here in the studio, a response. I think we talked about fire incidents.
That how period, slow the response
team. So that's exactly what just transpired there.
This is too much.
That's what transpired there. Even in fire incidents, when you call for those rescuers, they don't turn up on time. So it's a common
as
thing.
Good as not even calling
it's
them.
A common thing with Nigeria. But when it comes to security issues, I think there's been a lot of compromises here and there, because intelligence reports will always be sent, they are always aware, the security network in Nigeria is always aware of if there's going to be a security threat. Because if you follow that story very well, you'll find out that they were told that these guys came to try to indoctrinate the community as it is. They refused. They didn't attack them immediately.
They went back.
Yes.
All right. He also claimed that sensitive intelligence may have been compromised, like Mr. Fred has said, and as he had just reported a threat later to security agencies. Meanwhile, the defense headquarters said troops were promptly dispatched to dominate the general areas with robust patrols and surveillance, amongst other security measures, for about 2 weeks, as it expressed shock over the tragic loss of innocent lives in what it called cowardly terrorist attacks on Woro and neighboring communities in Kayama, Kwara State. Okay, it is pertinent to note that, the Kayama we're talking about, because, we have Kayama in Bayelsa State as well. So many people confuse the Kayama in this story to be the Kayama in Bayelsa State, because I got calls, asking, is it Kayama in Bayelsa State? What happened in Bayelsa State? I'm like, no, it's not Bayelsa State. It is Kwara State. So let us get that straight. So it is Kwara State. And this came as the People Democratic Party, PDP, accused the federal government of ignoring security warnings ahead of the reported killing in Woro community, describing the incident as a grim reflection of worsening insecurity in the country. Salihu, in the interview, said, I called, quote and unquote, I'll quote what he said now. He said, I called at about 5 p.m., but they did not come until about 3 a.m. That was from 5 p.m. to about 3 a.m. That's about 10 hours. Salihu disclosed that by the time the military arrived, the attackers had already fled and no engagement took place. The military did not attack them. The bandits had gone when the military came, he stated. He also confirmed that there was no air interdiction during the attack. The plane did not engage them. They did not interdict. They did not drop any munition on them, Salihu said. Now, what I see here is so many backs and forth. I mean, you were called, the forces were called at about 5 p.m. They arrived at about 3 a.m. Still on what you said earlier, the results of slow response. I mean, I think there used to be a sector called quick response. If my memory serves me correctly, there used to be a sector called quick response. But unfortunately, it's now slower response. Not even slow response, it's even slower response.
I'll answer you that. There's still quick response.
In what regard?
When they want to oppress the poor, the downtrodden of the society, they are so quick.
When to favor the high and mighty,
they are so quick at jumping to such kind of alerts. But when it comes to testing their might, they will tell you there's no fuel in their vehicle, no logistics. They will give you all manner of excuses. And that's the reason why we say that they come late, one. Secondly, like we said, the intelligence reports may have been compromised. I tell you what, we've heard of security personnel who will tell you that at the battlefield, when they want to attack the, in quote, enemies of the nation, they will find out that all the preparations, all the arrangements that they had going into that war, in quote, they'll find out that before getting there, the enemies will just, how is it called, ambush them and kill most of them. It's all about intelligence reports that have been breached or compromised. So that's what we see. And that's the reason why. Now, while you were reading that, if you remember, you said that these people came initially trying to enforce something on them. They refused. They left. The report now came to the security outfit. They came, stayed for a while, and then pulled out after 2 weeks or thereabouts.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Pulled out. And when these bandits, in quotes now, saw that the security that would, disturb them have pulled out, that's when they came and unleashed what they did. So the question is, when you know that community A has been sent this kind of threat, you went there, stayed, did your surveillance and what have you, and saw that nothing was happening, is it right? Maybe a security personnel should help us with this. Is it not right for you now to pull out totally from that and place?
And then leave the community totally vulnerable?
If you come to the Niger Delta, maybe because there's oil here, something that, feeds the nation and all that, they didn't pull out totally. They are still here. In fact, they've converted them to police. I'm talking about soldiers, and we converted them to police on the highway, collecting money from motorists. So this is not even a place that was sent threats to.
And all of that.
But you still keep your men here. Then a community that you've heard over and over that these guys, they come and they do things at will. You heard that kind of thing. You just stayed for 2 weeks and then you pulled out. See, it's not ordinary. Let's leave all this. Let's leave all this hide and seek game that we're playing in this country.
Also, according to the village head, he still had a lot to say. The community had been left vulnerable after soldiers previously stationed there were withdrawn following an earlier attack, like Mr. Fred has said earlier. Initially, we had a military base there. We had about 15 soldiers there. Some months ago, they attacked the soldiers, and since then, they evacuated them. So, I'm so sorry. So they mean that.
Even the soldiers are afraid of the bandits. They have no security presence in that place.
So even if the soldiers were there, they still would have been able to attack them.
The soldiers ran.
They attacked them.
They took off.
Oh my goodness. So are we saying that our security forces are not well armed, or they are not, strong enough to face these people? Because if they cannot protect us, there's a problem. There's a problem, because can you imagine? Some months ago they attacked the soldiers, and since then they evacuated them. So, Mr. Fred, let me ask you this question.
We are sorry that we're laughing. This is not a laughing matter.
This is a very sensible matter. A very sensitive matter.
Because we know how many lives have been lost in this.
Hundreds.
Hundreds? Thousands.
Yes.
We're talking of thousands.
Mr. Fred, let me ask you this question. God forbid it, but say, for instance, you were in that position, you were in that society, that community, and then you are aware that the soldiers that were sent to protect your community, they were attacked and they ran off. What will you do?
I will run out as well. I will run, because these are people that were brought in to safeguard the community.
But why 15 though? 15? What was 15 soldiers for a whole community?
I now saw that khaki They just decided one day enter those their troop. They now off I go.
So what if you don't have anywhere to go?
I will have somewhere to go.
For some people, not everybody has somewhere to go.
For some people, there's somewhere to go.
For some people, they've lived their lives.
Now you are saying they don't have anywhere to go, but many of them are now 6 feet deep.
They fled. Some of them even fled. Some even fled. Like this.
Did you see that report? Was it last month, January or December 2025, where bandits came, threatening the community, and people started evacuating their own community.
Their own homes.
If you see them in vehicles with their loads, they were leaving their home. Because when they asked some of them, they said, we don't trust the Nigerian soldiers, and that's what you are seeing here now.
It's a very...
I told it our palace here. They
took off. It's a very sad... It's not something we should be laughing over. I mean, it would have been more laughable if the soldiers were able to conquer these bandits and lives were not lost.
This has taken us to a very vital situation, and questions should be asked, especially towards our leaders.
Well, we've been asking these questions.
This is a community that people came to say, we want you to follow this kind of religion. Mm-hmm. And they said, no.
We will not follow.
We will not follow. And now the president is quoted as saying that, I'm very proud of you people to reject that extremist indoctrination. We also hear in this country, from the same northeastern part of Nigeria, where bandits came to some communities and say, you know what, those taxes and levies you pay to the federal government, channel them to us. If not, for fear of for them not to be killed, they started paying. What did the government do about that? Bandits were collecting levies. Before you farm your own farm, there's a certain amount of money you pay. The federal government heard about this because the people complained. And when they asked people, why you not just stop to the pay? They said, we love our lives.
Is either we pay or they on our lives?
We love our lives. The period they failed to pay, the bandits entered into the town and killed again.
Now, when we talk about...
So when you now talk about this indoctrination and the president is giving them thumbs up, I was just shaking my head like, what is going on? What is this?
Now they've been unalived. When we talk about kill, I mean, I don't understand how it has gotten to this point in time, gotten to this point in life that we talk about human lives as though we're talking about vegetables, as though we're talking about toys.
That's because
human beings. These are destinies.
That's because you have conscience. Okay? These people who are doing this dastardly act, they don't have. People that have been promised about some virgins in heaven.
But we
do you know what a virgin is to a man?
Oh my goodness. We cannot even say for a fact.
No, do you? Okay, you will not know.
I will not know,
okay.
Mr. Fred. But we cannot even say for a fact that they are from that religion. These bandits in question.
Hello.
We cannot say because they also kill both Christians and Muslims.
Hello. They said extremists. Do you know what extremists mean?
Please educate us.
Okay, fine. Let me not go Muslim. Let's take Christianity. If you now have some kind of people that are referred to as Christian extremists, it means that they are Christians, but they are taking it far too deep in relation to those Christians that you know. That's how these extremists are. They are Muslim related, but they are the extremists. Yeah, so WhatsApp those things you are talking about, that you think they promised them virgins as well in heaven.
Who promised them?
The Quran said so.
From your perspective?
From my perspective.
All right, guys. This is your perspective, right? And I know that you know that in this segment, we love to read comments. We love to hear from you people, our amazing viewers, what you think. What do you think on the electoral bill that was passed into, the electoral reform that was passed into bill? What do you think about the insecurity of Nigeria, this Kwara State massacre, and all that has been happening? What do you think? What is your perspective on the matter on ground? Now, Mr. Fred, let's delve a bit from this Kwara thing. Let's talk about the same insecurities in other states, because you said now that if you were in that state, if you were in that Kwara state, having known that the attack from soldiers, you will take off.
Off I go.
So now, what is the possibility that the places the place you will be taking off to is even safe?
No,
because as
right
it is,
now,
there's even nowhere safe in Nigeria.
Oh, come on. The Niger Delta is safe right now.
Well,
at least to an extent, to a large extent, because I just saw a report too from Edo State, how some bandits misbehaved recently again. I think Wednesday or Thursday or thereabout, but it's still safe in the Niger Delta, especially when it comes to the Delta.
Edo.
No, not even Edo. Edo, they've started having some issues there. Uromi is a volatile area already. So let me not go to Edo. Delta, Bayelsa, to an extent, River State. These are safe places. So if I'm in Kwara State, the first place my mind will go to is Delta or Bayelsa.
But you don't have anybody here.
Those Hausa men, not Hausa. Those bandits.
You don't even have
those bandits. They don't even know how to swim. So you
don't even have anybody here. Let's even look at that. You do not have
the northerners that migrated from the north to the south. Do they have anybody here? They came and they settled. They blended, just like the Igbo-speaking people of Nigeria now. You can see them anywhere. Do they have anybody in the north?
Okay, now let me ask you this. Let's delve a bit. So as a resident in the Niger Delta, in Delta State, Warri to be precise, if somebody comes to you and says, "This is what has happened. I came all the way from Kwara. I don't have anywhere to go. Please house me. Put me in your house. Help me." Would you be kind enough to help?
Good question.
Yes.
As the typical Nigerian that I am, and with the way things are in this country, I would try to test the next door neighbor. Test the next door neighbor.
So we are still saying the same thing.
No, maybe when he keeps testing, he might come and meet someone who is good enough to accommodate him.
No,
we are very accommodative.
We are very accommodative.
We are very accommodative.
So you're saying that we are.
Maybe at that particular point in time, when I see that he is one of those who ran away from Kwara State, I don't know. Maybe I would just think that maybe. But on a serious note, because I was just joking anyway. But on a serious note, when I see someone, in that kind of condition, I want to ask, help. Yeah.
No, the honest you.
Yes, that's the honest me. I want to help.
All right. On your perspective, we're still going to preach empathy as a people, because before we are Nigerians, we are first humans. So I'm not going to say, let's just go blindly and just act with our emotions and use your head, use your emotions. Just first of all, be a human. Be your brother's keeper. You have something.
It's just like when I was coming to work this morning, I saw somewhere where especially women were gathered.
Yes, I did.
In the name of financial empowerment. I had this conversation with someone with me. I said, this is poverty. That's why this is happening. To an extent, the man was right.
Yes.
But on the other hand, if the person who was doing that thing, could just say, okay, in my community, because I think it's community-based, just go to the community and say, okay, I pick like 5 people and empower them properly. It's better than this crowd. Because tomorrow, the next year, because he does this thing yearly, according to what I heard, next year, those 5 persons he picked from the community will not come next year for that empowerment.
They will go.
And so it is with this issue. No, they won't go because you know why I said so? It is documented.
Hey, Mr. Fred, I said they will go to collect more.
I know what I'm saying. Unless the people who the financiers, they are not doing their business well. For someone like Mr. Lawrence, who I know very well, who is very, very,
articulate.
I didn't say anything. I just said it like this.
No word said.
You cannot come back.
No, but for some people, like I said, some people will go.
My point is why I brought that angle. My point is, before we shouldn't have gotten to the point where someone will now run away from the north to me and ask for, accommodation for space for him. If the federal government does what needs to be done, security-wise, we won't be having people running for shelter or for safety from the north to the south.
But unfortunately, this is where we are now as a people.
That's it. So let the government work. Let the government work.
What government? If the no, we cannot say let the government work because the government has not been working before this thing happened.
Yes.
So is it now that people have left their homes?
To an extent, I agree with you because when you look at the proposed bill, budget, I beg your pardon, national budget that the president brought before the Senate that will be passed, by March. When you look at the particular sector that is taking the huge chunk of revenue, or as it were, you see that it is security.
This same security that people are running for their lives.
Understand? So,
oh my
a lot needs to be done. A lot needs to be done in that wise because it's affecting every part of the economy and to humans, even Nigeria.
So that is to say, let me speak as, I don't want to speak as a journalist now. I want to speak as a Nigerian. That is to say, in Nigeria, and as a Nigerian, in our local parlance, all malam for their kettle, all man for themselves. Because as it is, the people we voted into power are not helping.
Why would they help? I went to the
hot sun to vote for you.
We just talked about
make Nigeria a better place for me to see.
Not quite long. We talked about the electoral
reform and all of that. Yes.
So we have not even solved that one. You are looking for another. Maybe that matter.
Okay. All right. So we just hope that like I said earlier, before we are Nigerians, we are first humans.
Yes.
So let us put our heads together to be our brother's keeper. Because whether we like it or not, the government will not do everything for us. I mean, look at the one that government even did for us now. The people in Kwara State, that they sent soldiers to go and protect them. The bandits will attack the soldiers. And the soldiers ran for their life because they are humans.
So that's the reason why when they had this intelligence report, they came, stayed for 2 weeks, and vamoose.
Yeah.
They didn't even leave any trace of, okay, there's military presence in this community or in this area. They just, everything is normal now, let's go. And they've forgotten that when it comes to banditry and all of this, insecurity, they should be more intelligent than the ordinary Nigerian.
Exactly.
Because that is one of their major jobs
on
security. So how come they pulled out? I'm still wondering why they pulled out completely from the community.
It's unfortunate to know that in most cases, some of all these questions we ask ourselves are just rhetorical questions. Because unfortunately, we usually don't get answers for all of these questions. But I hope and I pray that soon, someday, very soon, we'll get answers to all of these questions.
Amen to that.
Amen. I don't think it should be amen. We should work towards it. Let us.
Is that not what I have been saying countless times?
People. It's not an amen thing. It's a thing of working.
It will be.
It's a thing of working.
It will be because
it's a thing of working.
One of the leaders who have failed us in this country, we have different leaders. We have traditional leaders. We have political leaders. We have religious leaders. Religious leaders, not all of them. Some of them have failed us. Some influential religious leaders have failed us. Because if they came out or come out as it is to say that, yes,
in their numbers,
this is what is going wrong in the country. I remember when the president of the United States was saying that Nigeria is coming, he's coming for Nigeria, sending troops and what have you. Some of these religious leaders were saying, no, we are at peace here. These same influential leaders, religious leaders, they say, yeah, there's no problem here. This, that. But when they started seeing what was happening, some of them started talking.
So it is actually safe to say that President Trump wasn't wrong labeling Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Because,
of course.
When he made that statement,
they wasted too much time. They wasted too much time. They delayed that. Yes, making that statement. Because
when that statement came out, so many Nigerians were acting like they've insulted them one insult that they've not heard before. Especially our leaders. Why would Trump say such a thing? But in the actual sense, we're actually a country of particular concern.
Do you know I'm even very happy. This indoctrination thing that happened in Kwara there, is it not religious matter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us keep praying.
Pray? No, I don't think.
Because that's what the religious leaders said. Some of them, in fact, most of them, when they declared the National Day of Fasting and what have you, we've been doing that right from, I don't know.
We're fasting.
But instead, the country keeps getting worse by the day.
I saw a funny story. Let's delve a bit. I saw a funny story. Will I say a funny story? Well, I saw a story. I saw a news story that some set of women in a particular state gathered to pray for their children to not be cultists, something in that light.
Okay.
And it left me wondering, you are praying for your children to not be cultists. How does it correlate? You gather together as mothers, as women, to pray.
They will pray
for your children.
They will continue to pray.
No, I don't think it's a thing of prayer. I think it's a thing of action.
No, they don't. Together. They don't believe in action. That's it. That's the problem.
Do you believe in prayer? Because you are encouraging Nigerians to pray. So do you believe in prayer?
I believe in prayers, but actionize it too.
Actionize your prayer, because even the Holy Book says that prayer without faith without works is dead. So yeah.
No. When you say faith now, faith and prayers are not the same thing.
And no, prayer, faith in that light.
No. Faith
from the context.
This is the problem. This is the problem we're having in Nigeria. This is the problem we're having in Nigeria.
Okay, let me put it.
Be specific, Mba.
Okay, let me put it this way. Prayer without works is going to be almost useless.
No, prayer without faith.
No, the Holy Book says faith without works. So I am saying, for this context and for the situation of Nigeria, prayer without works is almost useless.
I agree with you.
Because you just said now that we should actionize the prayer.
Because you were quoting the scripture. I said the scripture.
I didn't quote the scripture.
No, you were trying to let us know what the scripture says. That prayer, I now said, it wasn't prayer, they said. It's faith. And prayer and faith.
Yes.
Faith is part of prayer. So it's not the same thing. Let us. It is the problem with this country.
One last word from you, Mr. Fred, so I'm using viewers.
Anyway, the bottom line is, don't look at us like we're playing here. We are serious, about this matter. Security issue. I mean, it's not a good thing when we see our fellow humans being murdered, in cold blood and all of that. The federal government has to do what it needs to do, not all this drama that they are playing. They are toying with lives, and it's not good. Without the humans, how can you achieve the things you say you want to achieve? There's a way he described the national budget, proposed national budget. There's a way he said it's renewed resilience, blah 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 thing. When the people keep dying, who are you having this budget for? Who are you planning for? So please, as you have increased the President Bola Tinubu, as you have increased the portion of your budget, the part that is taking the highest part, chunk, talking about security and defense, please let us see that money is what is used,
used wisely. And judiciously. All right, from me, your host, Maru Samuels. The only thing I have to say is be your brother's keeper, be watchful, be vigilant, pray, and work. Because Nigeria is our country regardless. Whether we like it or not, Nigeria is our country, and we don't pray and hope for all of us to run away from Nigeria. So let us, keep being our brother's keeper. That's it from me, Maru Samuels, and my amazing co-host, Mr. Fred O'Neill, on Your Perspective. We hope to see comments of your perspective in the comment section on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Do well to follow us, like, share, and subscribe. And remember that your environment is a major part of you. Goodbye.
Hello, do you want to win amazing prizes? Just text TVM to +234 703 727 2983 and follow us on our social media platform and send a screenshot to our WhatsApp number +234 9028 518367 and stand a chance to grab
is TVM. TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to TVM's Business Update. I am Fred O'Neill. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening the micro, small and medium enterprises MSME ecosystem through enhanced collaboration among government agencies and development partners, officials said after a high-level meeting in Abuja. The Vice President Kashim Shettima chaired the meeting at the Presidential Villa, which included senior government officials, development partners, and private sector players. The forum offered a comprehensive overview of ongoing initiatives to deepen small business support and reflected growing synergy among regulatory and promotional institutions. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said the MSME ecosystem generated about 250,000 jobs last year, and participants projected that another 300,000 jobs could be added if the current momentum is sustained. He described the progress as clear evidence that broad-based economic reforms are gaining traction. Officials noted that agencies such as the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, the Nigerian Exports Promotion Council, NEPC, and the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, are now working as a single team to deliver measurable results. The coordinated approach aims to widen market opportunities, lower lending rates for MSME loans, and streamline institutional support. Now, the government official said strengthened interagency collaboration and expanded financing access could help deepen financial inclusion and broaden economic participation in Nigeria. Now, industrial giant Dangote Group has signed a $400 million contract with engineering firms to supply heavy equipment and key components that will help accelerate expansion work at its Lagos area oil refinery complex. The agreement covers the procurement of specialist refinery machinery, including distillation columns, heat exchangers, and storage systems designed to enhance processing capacity and operational efficiency at the facility. According to company executives, these additions are central to efforts to meet production targets ahead of schedule. The expansion is part of Dangote's broader strategy to expand refining and petrochemicals output, reduce import dependence for refined products and boost local energy security. With parts of the complex already operational, the additional equipment is expected to improve throughput and support downstream production lines. Now, industry analysts say the deal signals strong investor confidence in Nigeria's refining sector and reflects ongoing private sector contributions to meeting national energy needs. Nigeria's total oil output has declined, falling short of both budget expectations and production targets. Data from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, the NUPRC, shows. According to the regulator's National Liquid Hydrocarbon Production Report, total oil production, including condensate, dropped by 6.3% year-on-year to 1.627 million barrels per day in January 2026, down from 1.737 million barrels per day recorded in January 2025. On a month-to-month basis, production also fell by 5.7% from 1.544 million barrels per day in December 2025 to 1.627 million barrels per day in January 2026. The NUPRC said that during the month, the lowest combined crude oil and condensate output was about 1.59 million barrels per day, while the peak was around 1.82 million barrels per day, indicating significant daily volatility in production levels. Nigeria's average production also missed the 2026 budget benchmark of 1.84 million barrels per day, which was predicated on a crude price assumption of about $64.85 per barrel and an exchange rate of 1,400 naira to the US dollar. Now, additionally, OPEC reported that Nigeria's crude oil output, excluding condensate, fell by about 5% year-on-year to roughly 1.459 million barrels per day, also short of the 1.5 million barrels per day quota allocated by the oil cartel. Output of condensate alone was about 196,028 barrels per day, the NUPRC added, indicating that Nigeria's upstream sector continues to face challenges in maintaining consistent crude and associated liquids production. Analysts say the production shortfall will likely weigh on government revenues and foreign exchange inflows, underscoring ongoing challenges in the nation's oil-dependent economy. All right, so let's go to pension funds now, because revised equity investment limits for pension funds have injected a potential 5 trillion naira liquidity wave into the Nigerian exchange market, analysts say, following regulatory changes by the Pension Fund Operators Association of Nigeria, PENOP. Under the new guidelines, pension fund administrators are now permitted to increase the portion of their portfolios allocated to equities, a move expected to unlock significant capital that was previously held in fixed income and low-yield instruments. Analysts say this shift could deepen market liquidity and improve pricing efficiency across blue-chip stocks. According to data from Nairametrics, pension funds represent one of the largest pools of long-term institutional capital in Nigeria, and the recalibrated limits are projected to catalyze more active participation from retirement savings in the local capital market. This could benefit sectors such as banking, consumer goods, and oil and gas, which have strong representation on the Nigeria exchange. Market strategies say the 5 trillion naira estimate reflects both immediate reallocation potentials and future inflows as pension funds gradually diversify into equities. Some observers believe the move will foster increased stability and broaden investor participation, boosting confidence among both local and foreign investors. However, analysts also caution that higher equity exposure must be matched with enhanced governance and risk management frameworks within pension funds to protect retirees' assets in volatile market conditions. We'll go away from that one now to the Nigerian stocks, which has climbed to fresh multi-year highs last week, with the Nigerian Exchange All-Share Index rising sharply. But analysts are cautioning that the market now shows overbought technical signals that could signal a short-term correction. Now, according to market watchers, the benchmark index's gains were broad-based, driven by increased demand for blue chip and banking stocks, while other sectors also contributed to market momentum. This surge comes amid optimism around renewed foreign participation and improved liquidity flows on the exchange. However, technical indicators such as the Relative Strength Index, as the RSI, and other momentum measures suggest the current rally may be overheating, with the market trading above levels that typically precede short-term pullbacks. Analysts say that while a correction does not necessarily signal a bear turn, investors should exercise caution, especially short-term traders, and monitor macroeconomic indicators that could influence market direction. So despite the overbought signals, some market participants say fundamentals remain supportive for long-term investment, particularly in fundamentally strong stocks with solid earning prospects. All right, let's go to manufacturers now. And of course, players in Nigeria's agricultural sector may soon face interest rates of up to 60%, according to a new report on the implications of current monetary conditions. Now, the analysis highlights how elevated lending costs are affecting cost structures and investment decisions in key productive sectors. The report, published by Economic Observers, shows that access to finance for manufacturers and agri-businesses has become more expensive due to tightening monetary policy measures aimed at curbing inflationary pressures. With commercial lenders passing on higher benchmark rates to borrowers, many firms are struggling to absorb the increased cost of credit. Small and medium-scale farmers in particular are cited as bearing the brunt of rising rates, which can translate, by the way, into higher input costs and lower investment in productivity-enhancing technologies. Experts cited in the report warned that prolonged high interest conditions could dampen output, slow expansion plans, and potentially undermine efforts to strengthen local production and food security. Now, manufacturers contend that high loan costs reduce competitiveness, especially for firms that depend on working capital to sustain operations and meet export opportunities. So for industry stakeholders, they are urging policymakers, to consider targeted credit support and, of course, reduced financing costs and incentives to encourage lending to productive sectors. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we return, business update will continue. Stay with us.
Welcome to Dursag Engineering and Services Limited, a trusted name in the oil and gas industry, proudly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission since the year 2000. We hold several specialized permits with the Department of Petroleum Resources, are accredited with service and product codes by NIPEX, certified by Dun & Bradstreet, and proudly ISO 9001:2015 certified. Our head office is strategically located at 43 Airport Road, Warri, Delta State, Nigeria. At Dursag, our areas of expertise cut across critical sectors, including manpower sourcing and supply, both local and highly trained expatriate personnel. Engineering services across civil, electrical, instrumentation, and mechanical works. Construction and fabrication works. Specialized procurement and supply. Operations and maintenance services. And integrated marine services, delivering supply boats, crew boats, tugboats, barges, houseboats, and speed boats. We are proud partners to some of the industry's leading players, including NNPC and its subsidiaries, Seplat Petroleum, First Hydrocarbon Nigeria Limited, ND Western, Saipem Contracting Nigeria Limited, and Lee Engineering and Construction, among others. Over the years, we have successfully executed manpower, EPC, and marine support projects with a strong record of excellence. At Dursag Engineering, We are committed to quality, safety, and timely delivery, ensuring that every project meets and exceeds expectations. DESAG Engineering and Services Limited, your trusted partner in delivering world-class engineering and energy solutions.
Welcome back. Despite China's recent declaration offering zero tariffs on select imports from African countries, experts say Nigeria's persistent trade deficit may not be significantly reduced unless additional structural issues are addressed. Analysts note that while the zero tariff initiative, which aims to increase imports of African goods into China duty-free, could boost export volumes, several domestic constraints may limit its full impact on Nigeria's balance of trade. A major concern highlighted is Nigeria's low export supply capacity. Industry observers say local producers may struggle to meet the quality, packaging, and consistency standards required to access the Chinese duty-free market. This includes challenges in agricultural processing, manufacturing scale, and certification compliance needed for international trade. Infrastructure bottlenecks such as limited rail and port capacity also add to export costs, potentially offsetting tariff advantages. Without commensurate improvements in logistics and production ecosystems, Nigeria may find it difficult to take full advantage of the tariff waiver. Trade experts also caution that the zero tariff offer covers selected industrial and agricultural goods, which means only a fraction of Nigeria's export base may be eligible initially. Now, unless the country broadens its exportable products list and improves competitiveness, the trade gap could remain wide. Now, analysts say that while the initiative could be a positive step toward deeper trade engagement with China, domestic reforms, including boosting manufacturing output and improving export-oriented infrastructure, are essential for to translate tariff advantages into sustainable trade balance improvements. Let's go to the Bureau de Change operators now, because they say they face major obstacles complying with a new foreign exchange directive, citing operational disruptions. Industry sources say the rules have limited liquidity and hampered daily FX turnover. Operators call for stakeholder consultation to mitigate unintended market impact. The situation underscores ongoing tensions in Nigeria's FX ecosystem and calls for policy adaptation. Now let's cross over to neighboring country Ghana, because Ghana has paid approximately $909 million in interest on its domestic debt as part of a government-backed debt exchange program, officials said, in a move aimed at stabilizing its economy amid ongoing fiscal pressures. The interest payment represents a significant portion of the government's obligations under the Debt Restructuring Initiative, which is designed to reduce Ghana's heavy debt burden while protecting domestic investors. Authorities have been engaging with holders of local government bonds and other instruments to extend maturities and improve sustainability. Ghana's Ministry of Finance said the payment was made on schedule and demonstrates the government's commitment to honoring its obligations under the program. Local pension funds, banks, and other domestic investors holding the exchange debt instruments received their interest disbursements, providing short-term relief to those institutions. The domestic debt exchange was introduced as part of broader economic measures aimed at addressing Ghana's fiscal challenges, which include high public debt ratios and pressures on foreign exchange reserves. Analysts say that maintaining confidence among local investors is crucial to ensuring continued participation in debt markets as the country navigates its structure. So, officials say the focus remains on achieving fiscal stability while minimizing disruption to the financial sector. We'll stay away from Nigeria still, this on South Africa, because the country's inflation rate has dipped to 3.5%, raising expectations of a possible interest rate cut by the central bank, economists say. Lower inflation reflects moderated food and fuel costs, offering relief to households struggling with living expenses. Financial analysts say a rate cut could stimulate borrowing and economic activity. Monetary easing, if confirmed, may support growth, but warrants careful policy calibration to avoid currency pressures. And let's go back to Ghana, because senior executives and staff of the Ghana Cocoa Board have agreed to take pay cuts as the agency tackles liquidity challenges, officials confirm. Now, the move is intended to ease financial strain and maintain operational stability in the world's second largest cocoa producer. The board representatives say the steps are part of broader cost containment measures. Now, the adjustment aims to protect the sector amid price volatility and maintain farmer support programs. And let's go abroad now, and the last for our news today on Business Update. Warner Bros. Has rejected a revised acquisition bid from Paramount, signaling it is waiting for a stronger final offer, industry sources report. Now, the studios are in ongoing negotiations as media consolidation pressures grow globally. Warner Bros. Executives say they are seeking terms that better reflect long-term value and strategic alignment. The outcome could reshape competitive dynamics in the entertainment sector and, of course, influence future merger activity. Nice one coming from Warner Bros. They really want to pick at, their portfolio. All right, and that's a wrap on this edition of TVM's Business Update. For more updates throughout the day, follow us on our digital platforms and stay tuned to TVM for your trusted news and, of course, in-depth coverage. I am Fred O'Neill. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.